right, everybody, welcome on into the Central Committee stream with your host Mike from PA. We are live once again. The audio system is fixed. I'm sorry about that. That was weird. Who fucking knows? We're gonna do a nice little refresh of the computer after stream today and see what the fuck's going on. Wow. What do we have to talk about today? Well, we got Tectone banned. Easy clap, easiest ban of our lives. Didn't take much effort. It doesn't appear to be permanent to me. It doesn't appear to be permanent to me because it says temporarily suspended. Now, he's been banned 5 times in 2025. I mean, like, what the fuck? Why is he getting banned? Like, how is he able to get banned this many fucking times in 2025? Like, if you look at my bans, I've been banned 5 times, but only 1 time in 2025. How the fuck is this guy getting banned 5 times in like 6 months and not getting longer bans? By the way, this doesn't even count all my bans. They missed one of my bans. Unbanned after 19 hours. Yeah, exactly. Because they were fucking wrong. Pieces of shit. So one of my bans is even on here. So I actually have 6, but 3 of them, Twitch apologized to me. The 3 of them are just bullshit. This one was total bullshit. This one was, you know, whatever. And this one was also kind of bullshit. That being said, how the fuck do you get banned 5? You could see how he was being propped up by Twitch, just never getting banned. But once he was off of OTK, now suddenly he can get banned. You were banned for 16 days? No, 14. Considering he wanted to get banned, he seems to be under the assumption he won't ever get permit. Oh, chat. That's one of the projects I have today. We need to start perma-banning Tectone. And I'm not saying it because I disagree, because he's a disgusting piece of shit right-winger. I think that you should be able to stream as a disgusting piece of shit right-winger on Twitch. I'm not trying to get people to be censored. That would be so hypocritical of me. He should be banned because he's botting the platform and he's manipulating the platform and he doesn't actually have any viewers. He should be banned for botting the fucking platform. And Asmongold should also eat a ban for botting the platform as well. Like, now, Asmongold has fans, but the way that he pushes himself to the top of Twitch, whether he does it intentionally or somebody's doing it for him without his knowledge, is that he's being botted. Would this not be considered brigading? No. I'm discussing... What the fuck are you talking about? I'm discussing people botting the platform, and it's obvious and provable. Not being such a coward. I think one of the worst things that lefties do is they try to be like, oh, I'm not being a coward. I'm just worried about X, Y, and Z irrelevant liberal rule. And it's like, no, you just don't want to do any, confronting the right. You just want to like yell at other leftists for having a, slight disagreement on like how much effort should be going towards mutual aid versus like electoral politics versus, trade unionism versus, direct action. You want to yell at those people and call them Nazis, but when it comes to the actual Nazis, you're like, well, aren't we breaking a rule? Guys, aren't we breaking a rule? Like, come on, man. And like here, and there's a research that's been going on that we're going to find out who's botting. And Asmongold versus Hassan today. Account creation dates for Zakrar. Like, look at how there's certain dates that have 700, 800 people creating their accounts on one day. And this is the account. This is 19,856 accounts having shown enter the channel at least once during yesterday's stream. Look at the fucking account creation date spikes. So this is, and then if you even look at this, it's kind of weird how there's all these accounts that were created in late September, October, November of 2024, almost like they're platform manipulation botting for the election. And then if you look at Hassan's accounts, notice how you don't see any massive spikes except the one being election day or around election day, which is a natural day that people would be creating accounts because they want to come chat during the election. This is what Queso's looks like. This is what Queso's curve looks like. Again, you can see that people are creating accounts near the day because they're coming from other platforms and they're creating a Twitch account. You can literally see how Queso is drawing people into the platform. And I think it's absolutely ridiculous that we're going to allow, I mean, and it's really bad. You want to see Tectone? Like, I mean, Tectone, Asmongold, they fucking bot. Whether they're like, I know Tectone is paying for his own bots. I don't know if Asmongold is being botted by some other outside organization or he's botting too. But I know for a fact that Tectone is botting. I mean, it's just the reality. And I mean, like, I believe Asmongold, like, it is actually fucking terrible. He doesn't run ads. He's botting the shit out of the platform. He barely gets any subs for a stream his size. I think Hassan has 10 times the number of subscribers as Asmongold does. Like, that is... I'm sorry, I said Tectone. I keep putting like I keep wanting to put a K because that's like how you should spell it, right? It has a C. It has a C. Tectone's recent stream, approximately 2,850 bots. Like, look at this shit. Look at this shit. How the fuck is this tolerated, man? Unfortunate active shooter mass casualty situation unfolding in Minnesota. Oh boy. But these motherfuckers, Twitch listens to these guys and they have botted communities. So Twitch is making this website worse and the viewers are fake. And like Tectone 100. And here's the thing about him. Of course he bots. Of course he bots. He's a sociopath. Of course he does. He thinks that we're all botting. He thinks we're all cheating because he's talentless. He doesn't have any entertainment value. He's disgusting. So who the fuck would watch that shit except other talentless, disgusting rats? And honestly, there aren't that many. Why aren't the bots banned on their channel like Hassan did when he got botted? Because these are bots that they're paying for. And so the bots, they don't want the bots removed, whereas Hassan doesn't bot. So if there's a bunch of bot followers, it's probably malicious botting that are going to like spam the chat with racial slurs or whatever. They pay for these bots to boost their channel. Like, that is the reality. And when you look at like Tectone, I think it's safe to say that the vast majority of the people in Tectone's chat are literally paid bots. And you can see when the bots, when that one botting service was taken out, Tectone was what? Let's see, on August 23rd, peak viewers was 3,000. Peak viewers was 3,000. Look at that curve. Look at how it went up and then it went flat. Did Tectone get banned? Yes, he did. Nothing of value was lost. The 21st is when they banned bots. The 23rd was the only stream he did where he hadn't found a new bot provider, and then he bought new. Look at this shit. And here's the thing, chat. He's botting here. He botted here. But these spikes, these bot spikes, these are to throw off the trail. This guy's a botter. He's been a botter. He's always been a botter. That's just the fucking reality. You can see when his audience is not being botted, negative follower count. Then bots back. Look at these bot spikes. Like, this guy is the most obvious platform manipulating botting piece of shit I've ever fucking seen. 15,000 peak viewers. Get the fuck out of here. 3,000 viewers when it's like when one bot service is taken down. One bot service is taken down. His actual audience. And this is as a member of OTK being constantly pumped by Asmongold. Like, this guy is a fucking botter. He doesn't have a real audience. Fuck this guy. I hope he gets permanently banned. Look at Tectone's account creation for... Like, this is so fucking embarrassing, man. Account creation dates for his audience. When you go to his Twitch page, it says temporarily unavailable. It means he's not permabanned. Do you think Hassan is a bigger Twitch streamer than Asmongold? Yes, and it's not even close. Asmongold is not anywhere near the same size as Hassan. It's not even close. What Asmongold does do is bot. Now, I don't know if he's paying for his bot. I know Tectone is buying his own bots. I don't know if Asmongold is being botted by like Elon Musk or, you know, Steve Bannon or whatever the fuck else. But these guys are botted. Twitch needs to like start punishing these people harshly. They need to start punishing these people harshly because these platform manipulators, they also create a culture where creators start looking at who the big creators are. And they see this botted streamer, Asmongold, as #1. And so they start currying favor. They start leaning in and they start propagating his fucking talking points. But it's all a house of fucking cards. And it drives away real users and real people because you're orienting yourself toward fucking bots. There's a reason why TikTok blows up. And it's because they don't allow this kind of shit. He's definitely a bigger YouTuber. Yeah, man, they're only botting one platform. They're not botting every platform. Who the fuck knows who's behind it? Whether it's Mercer's, whether it is Steve Bannon, whether it's just Asmongold buying his own fucking bots, whether it's Elon Musk, who knows? We know Elon Musk pays for people to play his video games. It would surprise me one iota if he's botting his likes and shit. How pathetic would that be? So something really needs to happen, because this is spitting in the face of Twitch's attempts to keep the platform views legitimate. I mean, 3K max, and then the next day he's at 15,000. Like, let's be fucking real. Let's be for real. My house was searched today because I made a comment about Donald Trump. I reside in the country of Ireland. Jesus Christ, man. He's definitely bigger than Hassan on Kick. Yeah, Kick. Didn't the Kick creators admit 80% of their fucking audience is bots? Didn't the Kick CEO just admit that? Somebody find that for me. The problem is Twitch actually tries to be legitimate in their numbers. They're very, very harsh in how they scrub old, viewers. I know that people that are still here watching the stream don't get counted as viewers because they've been here for too long without interacting or refreshing their page. Twitch is doing all sorts of stuff to reduce the people that are 100% legitimate and allowing people like Tectone to bot the platform to fucking hell and back.
The view botting side of things is if anything potentially more contained here. And again, feel free to challenge me on that completely, and I will take it completely. But
so by percentage, if I were to say that I can confidently say that 30 to 40% of Twitch's viewership is inauthentic in some way. I would put that number closer to 70, 80% on Kick, straight up.
Right. Okay. No. Well, again, we've got an understanding about what the numbers are, where the real numbers are. Again, it's a large proportion, but 70 to 80%, I think you'll find is far too high. It's not as high as that. There's a lot of view bots, that's for sure. But 70, 80%, again, if that's based on your analysis, I'll respect that. But I can, from our side, the big aspect is understanding what a real viewer is and what a non-authentic viewer is, and it's the view botting side of things is if anything potentially
unserious platform, unserious guy. Did he give a bunch of money to the fucking the torture stream that killed the guy? Did he gift 150 subs to the torture stream? It's just fucking embarrassing. It's an embarrassing platform. It's cancer. It's just to rope in. And I'm going to be completely honest. The purpose of Kick is to get people that are below median intelligence addicted to gambling on a crypto casino. That's Kick. I mean, it really is that. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's just reality, is that there is a curve of intelligence of people's ability in the current moment and snapshot in time, and the people with below median intelligence and discernment, they get funneled to Kick and they get put on crypto casino gambling and they lose any amount of meager life savings they have. That's the entire purpose of the platform. They don't give a shit if it's botted to hell. They don't give a shit if there's Nazis. They don't give a shit if there's child porn and fucking weird creeps, IRL creeps that are harassing people or assaulting people. That's Kick. Kick founder and CEO Ed Craven. His name is Craven. Yo, his name is Craven? His name is Craven? Yo, in some Middle East village in fucking England, some guy ran away from the battle and they were like, oh yeah, that's Ed Craven. Fucking Ed Craven. That guy's such a bitch coward. Contemptibly lacking in courage, cowardly. A cowardly person. His name is Craven? Change your fucking name. They're the proud Cravens. Jesus Christ. Ed Craven, he ran away from the battle. He left his own son to die. Ed, he's such a Craven. Kick founder and CEO Ed Craven is listed as the 5th top donor to John Hormenov, the man who recently died midstream on the site. Viewers would give subs as acts of violence and physical and moral humiliation were conducted on the streamer. Kick CEO had donated 150. That's it? That's it? People are convinced. People are committing first-degree murder for a McDonald's-sized paycheck. Just work 40 hours at McDonald's. Like, god damn it, dude. Speaking of Asmon, he's now concerned about Britain.
So there's a, look at this. Yeah, you see it? Then over here at this one, we've got this crap going on as well. Yeah? And then we come along to this pole here, and they've then done the same crap here.
It's crazy the level of entitlement that these people have, that they think they can come to a completely foreign country and start flying their own flags of some other foreign country.
I think one of the things about Asmongold that makes him so contemptible is he's brain dead, stupid fuck. Like, he's just dumb as fuck. This is flown by white Britons who oppose the genocide and the use of their tax dollars and their military to help a bunch of Israeli settlers kill babies, you fucking dumbass. So they are standing in opposition to their own government and the theft of their tax dollars to do a war in the Middle East that's going to cause blowback and more terrorism and more violence in service of entitled Israelis, you scumbag piece of shit, Zionist footstool botting motherfucker. These are the people in the neighborhood putting those flags up. Because if, guess what? You put an Israeli flag up, I guarantee you they'll rip it the fuck down. This is called solidarity. And in America, if you ever left your fucking rat's nest, you know that we fly flags of countries, other countries that we love. I had a Scottish battle flag over my bed growing up as a kid because I was proud of my Scottish heritage. The rearing lion. I've had St. Andrew's crosses, which is the current Scottish flag. I've had family members flying, Irish flags, Italian flags, Greek flags. It's what people do. It's showing pride in their heritage, you fucking worthless sack of shit. What the fuck is Asmongold's heritage? Like, one of the most pathetic. And again, who's watching this shit? Who's watching this shit, guys? Which bot wave were you in? And I guess the question I have for you, Asmongold, are you going to cover this? Beverly Hills United School District board members vote to fly Israeli flags inside the schools. Hey, Asmongold, you reported on somebody having small Palestinian flags on their neighborhood street poles put up by individuals in the neighborhood to show solidarity during the mass murder and starvation of 2 million people with our tax dollars. That's the other thing. The starvation isn't happening because the Palestinians are too poor to afford food. The starvation isn't happening because nobody cares. The starvation is happening because your tax dollars, over $350 billion, have gone to Israel. Our military is sitting there shooting down drones and shooting down missiles of countries that are trying to intervene to protect these starving children. Our military is providing intelligence and logistical support and weapons manufacturing and training to Israel. And these motherfuckers are giving us nothing in return. And what do we get? This entitlement.
Tonight, a passionate debate at a board meeting of the Beverly Hills Unified School District. Board members voting yes on a proposal they say is meant to fight anti-Semitism. That includes displaying Israeli flags inside schools, but not everyone is on board. KCAL's Gio Insignaris is in Beverly Hills tonight with a look at both sides.
Rutabaga, good evening to you. That's right. This was something that was initially supported by board members going back to the last meeting on August 5th. Now they decided to revise it a bit and set it up for this vote.
That's correct.
The resolution passes 3-2.
Thank you.
A stamp of approval by the Beverly Hills Unified School District Board of Education, passing a resolution meant to combat anti-Semitism in the community and drawing strong reaction.
Anti-Semitism in the community is make our tax dollars buying Israeli flags and flying in our school when the United Nations has declared a famine in Gaza. I think the main thing I would say about Asmongold is he's like, oh, I made you mad. I made you mad. Ha, guys, we trolled them. We made them mad. Dude, you're 35 years old. Your body is rotting. You stink. You're surrounded by filth. You have no actual friends. Like, what are you doing with your life? You know the void is coming, right? And when it happens, is anybody going to be like, oh man, I really miss Asmongold?
action from the public and board members.
This is a time right now that Jews are being killed and slaughtered on the street, and threats are happening. So enough.
The resolution would, among other things,
the difference between me and Asmongold is I have loved ones and a education.
Recognize May as Jewish Heritage Month. Display the Israeli flag at each school and facility.
Hey, Asmongold viewer, do you like this? Hey, Asmongold viewer, do you like this? Come on, don't be a pussy. Do you like that your tax dollars are going to buy and fly Israeli flags? Don't be such a pussy. Come on.
Call for education and awareness around Jewish history and culture, and designate October 7th, 2023 as an annual day of remembrance. Supporters say the measure is needed amid rising anti-Semitism to make Jewish students feel safe and supported.
I believe this vote is for the Jewish people, for anti-Semitism, and why there needs to be education and training.
The Anti-Defamation League.
Are you not older than 35 as well? Yeah, but the difference is I'm not supporting a genocide, bro. I'm not supporting evil shit being done to children to get a rise out of people. I'm actually approaching politics from the perspective of wanting things to be better for people like you. And I know you need help. I know you need help. And you know you need help. The best thing that could ever happen to you is somebody like me gets into power in this country so we can rescue you. So that we could give you a fucking purpose in life. So we could give you the mental health care you need. So you could actually eat a good diet for once. Maybe move out of your parents' house into a nice social housing unit. Maybe you'll make some fucking friends or get a union job. Baby steps. For you, it's working on your hygiene. Bro, I'm not even an American. What is your problem? Oh. You're just an Asmongold? You like the Israeli genocide Asmongold fan. Amazing.
League recently reported anti-Semitic.
How come every single one of these supposed conservative guys crumble the moment you give them 1% of the energy? The thing you have to remember about conservatives is that they are cowards. The reason why people are conservative is because they live in fear. I like guns, but I like guns like I like planes, or I like boats, or I like going skiing. It's an activity. It's a skill. I like, in my own way, I like to master skills, right? I want to learn how to ride a motorcycle. I want to learn how to surf. I want to learn how to scuba dive. I want to learn how to fly a plane. I want to learn how to parachute. I want to learn how to climb a mountain. That's how I see life. I like picking up skills. I like learning and testing myself. I like to put myself in situations that are a little bit askew of my normal everyday experience. Conservatives fixate on guns because they live in fear. And the gun is a dick extender that they hang on to where they can fantasize about where they're finally going to be tough and make the tough decision to shoot somebody. Carthage, we don't use that slur. We don't use that. Oh man, I meant to time you out. You're just insulting someone based on their appearance, family, age. How is that constructive? Oh, I mean, it's not constructive because the reason why I'm insulting Asmongold is because he has money. He has complete freedom. He can live his life in the way that he sees fit. He's not constrained by having a 9-to-5 job. He's not constrained because he lacks resources. He's not constrained because he lacks a platform. He has every freedom you could get in our society, Asmongold has. And what does it result in? Him living in cockroach-encrusted filth and using his platform to spread hate. For many people, they're forced to do, many people that do bad shit, forced to do it because of circumstances, or they were mistreated, or they lack resources, or they lack hope, or they lack some sort of ability to support themselves, or they're in an dangerous social environment and they're pressured to do a certain thing. Asmongold has complete and utter freedom to live exactly the life he wants to live. And the life he wants to live is a hailing black mold surrounded by filth and cockroaches. And he's too lazy to even hire a maid. He's too lazy to ask for help. And he spends 100% of his effort and money on spreading hate. Asmongold is basically a person that has no virtues. Nothing positive can be said about him. Not one positive thing can be said about him. That's crazy.
Incidents in the U.S. were at record high.
To be fair, no maid would take his house as a job. Well, he would need like a hazmat cleaning crew. They exist. There's hazmat cleaners. There's guys that clean up after like murder scenes. Like there are cleaners that would tackle Asmongold's house. Honestly, he needs a full gut. He needs a crime scene cleanup crew. His house needs a full gut. If I'm being honest, I think it should be knocked down. I think his house should be knocked down with a bulldozer and taken and raised to flat ground. Like, that's the only way.
And in LA County, the most recent data from 2022 to 2023 showed anti-Jewish hate crimes rose 91%. The largest.
By the way, this is all bullshit. They say protesting Israel or saying from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free is a hate crime. There are not. That's just bullshit. It's total bullshit. We've already debunked the hate crimes against Jewish people or spiking thing. It's not even true.
Just number of anti-Jewish crimes ever recorded.
This should be a no-brainer for a school district that represents one of the only Jewish majority communities outside of Israel.
I work in property management and we do clean outs like this, but it's after the bank or government has taken over the home. Ugh.
But opponents argue that displaying the Israeli flag in a public school setting blurs the line between supporting Jewish people and endorsing.
Like, Asmongold's house has so many rats and roaches and pests in it that I think that PETA might protest a demolition of his house. Like, legitimately. There are so many creatures that are inside that home. I said roaches and rats and mice. There's so many like vermin. It's a fucking ecosystem. They're evolving new strains of like hyper-resistant cockroach. He's developing new strains of black mold. It's a rare environment. Yeah. Like, I think we might need to preserve it for ecological diversity. He's honestly making rad roaches real.
The Israeli government, particularly during the war in Gaza, adding that other ethnic and religious groups exist in the school district as well.
Does any flag of a foreign nation belong on a public school facility here in Beverly Hills? Of course not.
Moreover, some organizations and local parents warn the resolution is not designed.
Using the word Nazi is a shortcut for saying this person supports fascism. Trump is openly fascist. Asmongold supports Trump, ergo Asmon is a Nazi. I mean, let's be honest. Asmongold is a fascist. You could say he's a Nazi because he supports Nazi racial theories. He supports the idea that a cultural group should be exterminated because he considers them to be a lesser group. And the thing about Asmongold is he doesn't give a shit about history. He doesn't give a shit about why the world is the way it is, why Islamism even exists. Because, again, he's just a dumb, ignorant racist. And even if I sat down and we had a conversation about how the United States is responsible for the rise of Islamism, our support of the Mujahideen, Israel and the United States' actual financial support of Hamas as an alternative to what? Pan-Arab nationalism, the PFLP, which is a socialist party, which used to be the second largest party in Palestinian territories. After what? The PLO, which was what? Another secular party. So like Hamas and Islamism, that is something that arose in the 80s and 90s in response to what? U.S. supporting Islamism. The U.S. has supported Islamism as an alternative to what? Secular, center-left, nationalist groups that were trying to decolonize the Middle East. Why did we do that? Why do we support Islamism? Why do we support these dictators? Why do we support these monarchies? Because we want to steal their oil. And we want to prevent the creation of a powerful Arab state. Can you imagine Arabia with 450 million people, a $7, $8, $9, $10 trillion economy, controlling 45% of the world's oil production? That would be a world superpower. It would challenge Europe. It would challenge the United States. It would challenge China. They got to prevent that. How do they prevent that? Dictatorship, torture, Islamism. And that's the world we live in. But Asmongold doesn't give a fuck. He probably thinks based.
Designed to protect all students. Instead, it could alienate certain kids, exclude other persecuted communities, and even fuel more anti-Semitism.
Jewish communities have suffered sharp increases in hate crimes.
Frosthorn.
But other groups are not immune to these attacks either.
But board members in support say this is all meant in good faith and that any display of an Israeli flag is not an endorsement of the country's government or any geopolitical topic.
It does not mean that the flag display means that it is against anyone. It is in support of our Jewish students and the Jewish community.
And we reached out to the district for clarification on how the flags will be displayed, because that was a point of discussion, perhaps some confusion during points of this meeting tonight. We were told that no flags will be flown on a flagpole other than the American and California flags. Instead, the Israeli flag will be displayed and showcased in other ways. Reporting from Beverly Hills, I'm Gio Insignares, KCAL News.
Gio, thank you.
Like, honestly, I used to pity Asmongold. I used to be like, this is sad. Like, he still has these books that probably his mom got 40 years ago. He's never opened a single one of them. I used to pity this guy. Popcorn ceiling, carpet from literally the 70s. Like, I used to pity this guy. But now I'm just like, you know what? Let him live in that filth. All right, Asmongold and Tectone are botters. They're manipulating the platform. Asmongold is a smaller streamer than Hassan. It's a fact. And ultimately, I hope eventually Twitch takes platform integrity seriously enough to ban these motherfuckers. It would be nice. Okay, chat. There is an active mass shooting in Minneapolis. Hold on.
We have some breaking news coming in. Minnesota's governor says he has been briefed on a shooting at a Catholic school this morning. I want to go live to CNN correspondent Isabel Rosales, who is following this. What are you learning, Isabel?
Pamela, so this is a reported shooting at Annunciation Church. This is a Catholic school located in South Minneapolis. I believe we do have a live feed right now, live images from our CNN affiliate WCCO, where we can see.
Odds that this guy watches Asmongold. Unlikely, because all his viewers are bots.
Yellow tape, the area has been blocked off, a large police presence. And at moments, we've also seen agents with FBI vests walking around in the scene. We've reached out to hospitals. We've reached out to all sorts of law enforcement agencies trying to get more details. But this is what we have from the governor, Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, and Kamala Harris's former running mate. He said this: "I've been briefed on a shooting at Annunciation Catholic School, and will continue to provide updates as we get more information." The BCA, that is the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, and State Patrol are on scene. I am praying for our kids and teachers whose first week of school was marred by this horrific act of violence. We also have a statement from the mayor of the city of Minneapolis.
I had to go around this morning on my way to work.
Jacob
So
Frey.
embarrassing.
He's saying this: a monitoring report.
It's not active anymore. It's been contained. The fuck does contained mean? I put it in my title. Active mass shooting in Minnesota. Shooter contained. Does that mean he's arrested? Does that mean he's dead? Or does that mean he's in a fucking classroom like Uvalde?
Reports of horrific violence in South Minneapolis. I am in touch with Chief O'Hara, and our emergency response team has.
What's a Catholic church? Catholic school? They teach religion? Where are you from? Are you from the UK? Because Albion isn't that like a slur for the UK from the Romans and the French? It's not a slur, just a place name? Oh, come on. It was funnier when I said it was a slur. White for the White Cliffs of Dover. Yeah. Perfidious Albion. Exactly. What I will say is the Catholic Church has a long tradition of parochial schools. These schools teach a full modern education because the Catholic Church supports evolution. However, they have religious instruction as well that teaches Catholic doctrine. So they're run by their local diocese, which is a geographic subdivision of a Catholic church. So Catholic schools refers to a parochial education. So it is like a high school or whatever, but it's run by the Catholic Church and paid for by private citizens. You don't have to be Catholic to go to Catholic school, but I think you have to take their religion classes, though.
Has been activated. We will share more information as soon as we can. Please give our officers the space they need to respond to this situation. So obviously a breaking scenario here, a very serious seeming scenario where a shooting has been reported at a church. Pamela, we'll get back to you with any updates.
Yeah, and it sounds like this is a situation where you have the church and then you have the school connected to that. And the details that we are able to pull about this school is that it goes from pre-K, preschool through 8th grade. The student population at that.
Oh, it's kids. Oh, this is like not even a high school. These are just kids.
School is over 320.
Like these are not even teenagers. These are like literal children.
Students, according to U.S. World News and Report. And from their website, Annunciation provides comprehensive education, faith formation, and enrichment activities for children from preschool through 8th grade. And now we are hearing from the governor that police are responding to this horrific act of violence at this Catholic school. And they just started school this week, right, Isabel?
That is correct. And Pamela, if I can add this, from their website, it looks like they would have been, that the all-school mass would have likely been underway at the time. So we're looking at a calendar. So school mass would have been underway. Obviously, we're reaching out to across many avenues trying to get more details as to what happened here.
That is very sad. All right, thank you. Stand by as more details come in. I want to bring in CNN security correspondent Josh Campbell. We're trying to get some more details, Josh, but right now, per the governor, police are responding. What can you tell us?
Yeah, and what we've seen from some of our local affiliate images there, you have this massive presence involving multiple different agencies. And sadly, in this country, in this era of shootings, we know that that is textbook, where if officers get reports of some type of shots being fired, they will self-deploy. We saw local police, state police there, as well as agents from the FBI's Minneapolis field office all on scene. It appears from the posture of officers that we're seeing, and again, we always want to be clear, we wait until authorities give the all clear to people in that area. But it appears from their posture, it appears that the emergent phase of this has likely subsided because we don't see those additional units coming in, people coming in and rushing. But we also know, sadly, that these incidents are often over in seconds or even minutes. And so that is where we are right now, waiting to get additional information on what exactly transpired, what the number of victims here might be, what their status is, and then, of course, the suspected the shooter here, what are the details there? There's always a question, was this something that was targeted? Was this a random, indiscriminate act of violence? Obviously, all of our hearts break when you look at the venue of where this actually took place. And so a lot of investigative work that authorities will have to do as well. We know that once they actually go through and clear and then have some sense of confidence that there is no longer any threat, they're going to want to interview witnesses that are around there as well, including, pulling any security camera footage that may be around that area, all part of the complex investigation in these shootings that sadly we see too often.
All right. Thanks. Stand by, Josh. I want to go back to Isabel Rosales because you have some new information, right, Isabel?
Right. We have on social media a statement from Deputy Director Dan Bongino of the FBI. He said this, a short statement here. FBI is aware of the reports coming out of FBI Minneapolis, and our agents are en route to the scene. We will provide more updates as able. So obviously a serious scenario where you have local, state, and now federal resources being thrown to this active scene.
All right. I want to bring back Josh because we're looking here at what's happening. And Josh, you used to work at the FBI. Give us a little bit of context about the FBI responding here and what you make of the scene right now, what it tells you about the state of play right there where the school shooting allegedly happened per the governor.
Yeah, so during the emergency phase of a situation like this, all guns are coming on the scene.
Sounds like it was the morning mass. So students go to the morning mass, but also parents, members of the community, etc. also are there.
And a sworn law enforcement officer that can potentially be able to stop a threat is going to be there, and that's regardless of what their agency is. But after it moves into the investigative stage, all of those different agencies will bring different things to bear.
According to the local news, the city council member who represents the area said the shooter is down. I believe that local law enforcement has confirmed that, but I'm looking for more.
The
coverage.
FBI has a lot of, again, I say sadly, has a lot of practice in processing these kinds of scenes because they'll want to document exactly what happened. We also know from the ATF that they are responding, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and they have a specialty in actually tracing firearms in order to determine what the origin was.
Okay, according to local news report, thank you, Chatter, that there are 20 victims so far and that the shooter is dead. A shooting has been reported at the Annunciation Church and Catholic School in Minneapolis. Fox 9 sources confirmed the suspect is dead, and authorities say there's no active threat to the community other than, the constant threat of being in America. The Richfield Police Department is reporting there are 20 victims. A man dressed in all black and armed with a rifle was reported at the scene. Neighbors reported hearing significant gunfire, so much that they didn't think it was actually gunfire. The church and school are at the 500 block of West 54th Street. The school is for kindergarten through 8th grade. They started school on Monday. They have mass at 8:15 a.m. on Wednesdays, and students were reportedly en masse at the time of the shooting. Guys, don't worry. Trump has been briefed. Donald Trump has been briefed. Everybody hold your horses. Don't get too nervous. Donald Trump has been briefed. I feel safer already, don't you?
This morning, we are following several shootings over the past day in Minneapolis, including one breaking from overnight. We do have new details just in throughout this morning. One person is dead, another is injured. This is after a shooting near the State Theater. Police say they have non-life-threatening injuries. We do want to take a look at that scene over at 8th and Hennepin. Happened just after 2 in the morning. We've seen shell casings on the ground, a heavy police presence. Minneapolis police say a suspect opened fire on a group and then ran. No arrests have been made. So this morning's shooting marks 11 people shot in the city since yesterday afternoon, and police are working to figure out if these shootings are related.
Including a mass shooting that left 1 person dead and 6 injured.
We will not stop until we can make every block in this city safe for all of our residents.
And of course, Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara at a press conference addressing the violence.
So this mass shooting happened just off of Lake Street and just steps from Cristo Way High School. School officials didn't comment on the shooting, but police say all of the victims are adults.
The shooter still on the run this morning. Shayla Reeves joins us from police headquarters outside. Shayla, how's the community reacting to this violence?
Well, one man told us his wife was scared and he and his family took shelter in the basement after hearing those gunshots. This all unfolded around 1:30 Tuesday afternoon, just east of Interstate 35. That's where police say a suspected shooter hopped out of a vehicle and fired about 30 rounds from a high-powered rifle. It happened at Clinton and East 29th Street. Bullets struck 6 men and a woman. We're told 1 man did not survive. Investigators took pictures and collected evidence trying to piece together exactly what happened. One woman says her son works near the shooting location.
It's changed. I grew up in this area. I could walk down the street, and I don't want to get teary, but I could walk down the street. I didn't have to worry about needles on the ground, although there's none here. I didn't have to worry about substance users.
Now, the woman went on to say she was initially concerned when she heard about the shooting, but says she appreciated the efforts of police. Right now, we're told at least one of the shooting victims was targeted, and at least 3 of those victims, Police Chief O'Hara says, had some very serious injuries, but those 3 are expected to survive. At this time, the search continues for that shooter. Police telling us they're pursuing strong leads. We'll continue to follow this case and bring you new information as it's released. Heather and AJ.
Shayla Reeves live for us outside Minneapolis Police Headquarters. Shayla, thanks for that update. We're also still working to learn if another shooting just blocks away is connecting to the mass shooting. We know 1 person died near 27th Street and 3rd Avenue South, and new details just into our newsroom. Police now say a 2nd person may have been injured. This 2nd shooting happened just after 8 p.m. yesterday. Police continuing to investigate.
Now, as we work to get details on all 3 of these violent incidents in Minneapolis, be sure to stay with WCCO on air and streaming on CBS News Minnesota for the latest details and continuing coverage.
New details on a hit-and-run crash that left a young girl fighting for her life in Eden Prairie. The young girl's father shared this video from the ICU yesterday. In a statement to WCCO, he thanked first responders, the medical team, and the community for its support for his daughter. He's also asking anyone who knows something to come forward, saying, quote, "We are looking for justice for our family and have this case solved as soon as possible." That crash happened on Mitchell Road in Eden Prairie last Thursday.
Okay, I don't need to hear about the hit and run. Sorry about that, chat. I was looking for more.
We have some breaking news coming in. Minnesota's governor.
I don't know if we have any report on the shooter himself. I'm sure Trump will use this to deploy the National Guard to Minnesota. It doesn't even matter. Like, again, he's going to do that anyway. No event matters for what Trump is doing. Like, none of this matters. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is they are like, well, this event happened and that's going to let Trump do X, Y, and Z thing. No, Trump is going to do that thing no matter what, because there are 350 million people in this country. People are murdered every day. We have no regulations on our guns. So a lot of mentally ill, unstable, depressed, aggressive people have guns in this country. There's going to be a lot of shootings today. So there is no way to avoid some sort of pretextual event. That's why they call it Pretextual. 2 days ago, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz attacked the National Guard. Today, a school full of Catholic children was shot up in his state.
Attempt to go into others, flaunting. But what we have to be clear about is take the bait. It boggles my damn mind that in the midst of a military takeover of our cities and the attempt to go into others, flaunting of the rule of law, the cruelness and the unconstitutional nature of the way they're attacking our neighbors, that the press finds the need to talk about, oh, there's in the Democratic Party. There's a division in my damn house and we're still married and things are good. That's light. That's light. We are strong.
The fuck does that even mean? What does that actually mean?
We are strong because we challenge each other. We are strong because we're held accountable. We're strong because we believe that there's a place for everyone here. Think of how easy it would be to be a damn Republican. Oh, what should I wear today? This stupid freaking red hat. What should I say today? I don't know. Just make sure it's cruel. Who do we listen to? That guy. Oh, the felon in the White House? Yeah, listen to him and that will be fine. Now he's...
So chat, side story that I wanted to mention real quick. New polling memo dropped from Graham Plattner campaign in Maine. Janet Mill, 43. Susan Collins, 42. Graham Plattner, 48. Susan Collins, 32. Centrist Dem is up 1. Democratic Socialist is up 16. Are you sure, Mike? They're pretty white up there in Maine. Are you sure the white people in Maine would support a socialist? Ryan, serious question. Why do you acknowledge polls anymore? They've been inaccurate for 10 years now. They perfectly predicted 2024. What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? It was very clear that Kamala Harris was going to lose if you just looked at the polls. Hard to poll in Maine. The Gideon versus Collins shit is one of the funniest shit of all time. Gideon was a Hillary Clinton clone, centrist Democrat who had infinite money from every corporate donor. I think she finished the election with 10 million in the bank. She didn't even spend. And she got absolutely wrecked by 9 points. And best of all, she underperformed Biden by like 16 points. Nobody wants centrist Democrats. The best part is it doesn't include the inactive voter. I mean, we don't even need to get into that. You guys remember how I predicted that Zoran was going to win? Did you see how easily I could predict that Zoran was going to win? I was able to predict that Zoran was going to win because I was taking into account the readily apparent surge of lower propensity voters that were showing up to volunteer. He had fucking 50,000 volunteers. Like, it was pretty obvious that people that don't normally vote were going to show up for Zoran. So the fact that it was 50-50 at the polls showed that he was probably up and up big. Mike, does this mean liberalism is dead in New York? 3/4 of Hassan's chat are liberals, okay? Half the people who call themselves streamers on the socialists on this platform who stream politics are fucking liberal. I can't go on TikTok without somebody exposing their ass by doing xenophobic propaganda. We have people that legitimately are like, China is colonizing Africa. Like, people legitimately take that shit directly from the US State Department and then post it leftistly. And it doesn't matter if you show them that people are being paid to shill. Like, for example, there's a new program online to pay people $8,000 a month to push the Democratic Party line. Are you wondering why so many influencers are going like, I love Gavin Newsom? They're being paid. Sign me up. I'm going to perma you. You're not allowed to come to the Mike from PA stream and scream about how you're going to sell out. My entire life has been turning down things like this. My entire life has been turning down these kind of opportunities for standing up for what's right. If you're a pathetic fucking groveling worm, don't tell me.
Of the weapon, was it something that someone obtained legally? Was it illegally? They also have the capability to assess whether that weapon was used in past incidents as well. And so all those different agencies under a unified...
You and Hassan convinced me to get more involved in my union. Now I'm on the council and a strike captain. Feels good, man. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother. Now what you need to do is find more allies to get on the council with you. Get people that agree with you on the council too. That's a fucking based chatter.
Command will be there on scene to try to help as much as they can.
All right, stand by, Josh. I want to bring in Andrew McCabe, the former deputy FBI director. As you look at what's happening, what is your sense of this police response to what the governor said as a shooting at this Catholic school, and the fact that the school just started this week and the mass, per its website, is every morning at 8:15 a.m. that appears to have coincided with the timing here of this alleged shooting? Andrew.
Yeah, well, so Pam, I guess to start with, I would say my read from the limited things that we've seen on the video coverage so far is the same as Josh. It does appear that the initial emergency response might be behind them, because you don't see those, those scenes of officers parking haphazardly, jumping out of their cars, grabbing a rifle and running toward trouble. So that's maybe a good sign at this point. In terms of the FBI response, initially it's the same as the rest of the law enforcement community. They hear about these things from their friends and colleagues, or on the radio, or maybe with local police officers that they're working with on a task force, and they just go. So what you typically see at the very first spot is officers, including FBI agents, getting out of cars, going in there to try to stop this shooter and also to help victims. After that, the second phase of response is typically the more tactical effort to clear the entire premises. And then you might see more SWAT teams, the FBI SWAT team or other local SWAT teams brought in to do.
We need to militarize the police more. Yeah, give them fucking M1 Abrams tanks.
Do that, to go through every room, every closet, every hallway very carefully and slowly to ensure that there are no more threats. And then, of course, you come to the point that we've seen far too many times in this country, which is just the work of the crime scene technicians. The FBI evidence recovery team will likely be brought in to help the local police in that effort. And that's a laborious process of documenting all of the horror and the evidence that likely exists inside this place. As for the timing, I mean, the fact that it happened in the first week of school is awful and disgusting, but we shouldn't be surprised by any of that.
I started out watching Hassan in 2020 as a regular progressive lib. Now I'm an ML. That's in the process of unionizing my workplace. Get active, chat. Here's what I would say. Hassan and I stream, especially mine. I'll just describe mine. Hassan could describe his own philosophy. I have a different philosophy than him. I am what's known as a centrist Marxist, in the sense that I support revolution. I want a revolutionary workers' party, but I also believe that we should take advantage of electoral opportunities to achieve reforms when possible and open the Overton window by using something that the masses are interested in, electoral politics, as a way of normalizing socialist beliefs and putting socialists in power so that the Overton window could expand to the left for more revolutionary projects. But I don't believe in reformism, in the sense that reform is the only way we're going to get socialism, or is the best way to get to socialism. I see reform programs or reform socialist candidates as just a necessary evil to help raise class consciousness and, if possible, gain concessions to raise the material conditions and the bargaining power of the working class overall, and to help build trade union consciousness as part of a project that eventually overtakes capitalism in the long run. That's what I see as my politics. I don't agree with the people that just say, don't do anything electorally, it's all a waste of time. Because in my experience, the reason why those people are wrong, it's not that electoral politics isn't annoying and fucking full of betrayal and disappointment. It is. But so is every other form of leftist organizing. The reason why I think electoral politics, we should participate in it, is because basically normal people care about it. Normal people pay attention to it. And when you have a socialist who's doing really well in the polls and winning, they're forced to be talked about. Their ideas become introduced and discussed as serious. If you're not contending for any kind of real power in the real world, the people just consider your stuff to be bullshit, pie in the sky, and they don't think it's worth considering or thinking about. So I go where the masses are. I don't go where I am. I don't make a party for myself. I make a party to expand class consciousness. And so You know, I don't have any illusions that Bernie Sanders or AOC or Zoran or Graham are going to like enact a socialist utopia in the US, but they may give us a space to be able to talk about, for example, Palestine. Like, I'm not going to have the FBI arresting me for being pro-Palestine if Graham is elected as a senator in Maine. You see what I mean? Like, we're giving more space for more radical forms of action. And they're going to fucking betray us, but we're going to get concessions out of them too.
Because we have seen awful and
Socialist
disgusting...
scientist says, I'm a union rep, now going out to recruit at my college at orientation today. Hell yeah, brother.
With these horrible attacks so many times now that it almost seems it's hard.
Wouldn't that look bad for socialism if they faceplant or are stiffed? You don't understand how people think. You don't understand how people think. It's very hard to actually defeat people. Defeating people is actually very hard. In fact, when people see someone get fucked over in an unfair fashion, it pisses them off. It radicalizes them. It makes them more willing to fight harder. And that is, and part of teaching you guys how to be socialists is teaching you to buck up, is teaching you to be tough, is teaching you not to expect instant gratification. If you're a socialist who thinks we're going to wave a magic wand and it's all going to be fixed just because you learned about it this year, and all we needed was you to become a socialist in 2027, and then the socialist utopia is on the way. We were all just standing around for pigeon milk to become a socialist. If only pigeon milk had become a socialist earlier, it all would have been fixed. It's like, no, man. It's a long historical process. If we knew the answer, we would have already done it.
Hard to imagine that we're still seeing new things that are like newly offensive and surprising. Yeah. The assembly of the school in a publicly announced and known calendar. Anyone who is seeking to try to maximize damages in an attack like this, the fact that they know that the entire school will be assembled under one roof at a particular time of the day, that can have negative consequences on how many people get hurt. So we don't know if that's something.
Wow, man! Thanks so much for the analysis, dude.
This shooter planned on, or whether they just happened to get there at that moment in time. Mm-hmm. All those details are things that investigators will be trying to uncover as the days and weeks follow. But obviously, a lot left for us to try to learn here, as we know very little at this time.
I don't know if you've been watching Alien Earth, but in that universe, 5 corporations own everything. There's no more government. I feel like we're heading that way sometimes. Corporations are just private tyrannies. Corporations are a government. That's why libertarianism is so silly, because the most tyrannical time of your life is when you're working at a job and you have a boss and they're ordering you around and they're monitoring your activities and you're forced to listen to what some dipshit says without any input. The most tyrannical time of your life is the 8 hours or more a day that you're working your job. That's what socialists are against. Socialists want to create a society where there is no tyranny, where we work collectively. It doesn't mean there will be no authority. It doesn't mean there's going to be no hierarchy, but it'll be done in such a way as to minimize the imposition of one person's will over another's. Collective will, yes. Individual will, no. My boss threatened to fire me because my car battery is finished. The funniest thing is, like, when you know people that are rich, when you know people that own a lot of property, you realize, like, they're the least organized people you know. They're the laziest people you know. They're the people that rely on others the most. They just have money as a cushion to rescue them from all their dumb fucking mistakes. Okay, chat, I wanted to show you this video. It's completely unrelated to anything we're talking about, but it made me laugh. Gen Z is losing more money to scams than boomers. That's exactly what I'm talking about, chat. Gen Z getting tricked on Kick to go to stake.com or getting rug pulled by a fucking influencer coin.
We're actually going to talk about some scammers, and not from boomers, from Gen Z. People losing money right now. It's going to surprise you. It turns out Gen Z is particularly vulnerable to fraudsters. Now, the Federal Trade Commission says people ages 20 to 29 reported losing money to fraud scams more than people ages 70 to 79, those baby boomers. So let's get this, why this is happening. We're going to talk to somebody right now. Mark.
Yo, Gen Z is just baby boomers reincarnated, aren't they? Aren't they? Oh, no. We thought we got rid of them, and then you guys show up.
Margarita Alvarez. She's the head of payment risk for programs for Wells Fargo. Margarita, all right, we had a little shuffling going on right there, but we finally got to you. Thanks for joining me. All right, so this is big news right now. Gen Z losing more money to scams than baby boomers. So why do you think this is happening? Do you think digital fluency could be a blind spot for this tech-savvy generation?
Well, tech-savvy, it doesn't necessarily correlate to being scam-proof. And to your point, while digital, and being digital is a superpower for Gen Z, it also happens to be the playground for scammers. And scammers are going to capitalize on seasonal opportunities where Gen Z is vulnerable, specifically around back to school imposter scams.
Now, you just said it right there, back to school. So what is it about that time that makes it such a gold mine for scammers?
Gen Z is embarking on new life experiences. They're getting their first taste of independence. They're working to be able to manage financial pressures from the growing costs of college. And so that leaves them, susceptible and vulnerable to scammers putting together any types of tricks that capitalize on those types of pressures and new experiences.
Okay, so what are the actual top scams that Gen Zers could actually fall for?
Scholarship scams, anything that promises some type of financial aid or grants, job scams when they're looking for new opportunities to be able to make some money, housing and rental scams, any type of online market scams when they're looking for new supplies such as textbooks or new computers, et cetera. They just have to be very mindful.
Well, first of all, everything's a fucking scam now. Everything's a fucking scam. Notice that every single one of these things are necessities. Oh, I'm trying to get an education. You dumb fuck. I emptied your bank account. Oh, you're trying to get a job? Aha, it was a fake job. We were just getting your information so we could install a keylogger on your phone. Oh, were you looking for a place to live? Haha, dumb fuck. That fee you paid for a background check or your security deposit, I don't actually own anything. You just got fucked. Thanks, idiot. Oh, you can't afford your $5,000 textbook bill? Here, you can download this PDF. Whoops, I just keylogged your computer and logged into your fucking online banking and emptied your account. Fucking great. Oh, you tried to buy something on Amazon? It turns out it was fucking counterfeit. This isn't even get rich quick schemes or anything. This is just normal, I'm trying to live behavior. It's one thing if you get scammed from a crypto coin rug pull. It's kind of your fault for being a dumb fuck. If you're buying MILF coin and it pumps and dumps, it's kind of your fault if fart coin doesn't work out. But if you're just trying to get a job or housing, what the fuck?
Mindful of that.
Okay, so you're talking about being mindful. So what are some other red...
I was worried about shitcoin because I was worried for Ethan Klein. And then I was like, what if I made Giardia coin? Would you guys buy Giardia coin? If I made Giardia coin or CPS coin? Come on. To the moon. Come on. I just need to make a quick 5 million. Put it into a diverse basket of government bonds, return 4 or 5% per year. Come on. You would buy Giardia coin? Come on.
Flags that people should really be looking out for right now.
Then you need to be able to take a look at.
The stock market valuation has exceeded all previous bubbles. Oh yeah, I know I've been calling bubble for a while now, but I just don't get it. It's just crazy. Where are they printing the money from? People are the job market's dog shit. You're not Epstein. You can't get away with that, man. Epstein. Oh my God. My favorite Epstein scam of DGG was when he was like, NFTs are fucking stupid scams. There's still only idiots buy NFTs. It's such bullshit. And then 3 days later, he started an NFT grift and he grifted his community. Child molested grifting DGG is really funny. Also, my favorite Destiny scams are Progressive Victory, a scam pack where he just pays all his orbiters to suck his dick. And then it was the NFT scam. Those are the top two. David Pakman did the NFT stuff too. I know David Pakman is a disgusting rat. I have recited this almost daily from the stalwart since I read it. This Shanghai Composite Stock Index is roughly flat to 2009, but China has become the world's manufacturing powerhouse. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 is up 500% since 2009, but as a country, we are materially much worse off. No, Sagar, no. The dollar value of our speculative assets has gone up. We've printed a bunch of money. What do you mean we're producing less housing than ever? What do you mean public transit is being dismantled in our biggest cities? What do you mean congestion is worse than ever? What do you mean we have millions of people that are homeless? What do you mean student loans are blowing up? That's good. The more student loans we have, the more assets we have. Debt equals asset.
Fake emails, text spoofing, fake websites of any sort. You have to be able to make sure not to be able to share personal information. Even if you're getting emails from a friend, make sure that you take the time to be able to validate it. Just be cautious and aware.
All right, Margarita Alvarez with the information we need. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ike.
One of my favorite things has happened, chat. One of my favorite things has happened. This is incredible. This is amazing. This is my dream event. Dedicate hours a day to making fun of communists on the internet. You're so poor in a capitalist country that you can't even pay your medical bills. Your average tanky. There are two political positions. Mine and Nazi. Tanky takes LOL. Dear followers, I'm currently struggling with my medical bills and would deeply appreciate your support. If you would kindly share and retweet this as much as possible, it would mean the world to me. Every bit of help counts. With gratitude, Tanky takes. Wait a minute. This guy wants the community to pay for his health care? This guy wants us all to join together and say like a collective group and then provide medical coverage for everybody in the group? I don't know, man. That kind of sounds like, and in case you're wondering if it's fake, Tanky takes. Tanky takes. Wishing death upon someone isn't the kind of win you think it is. And my kind of general reaction to this is, my feeling toward this guy is, when we pass Medicare for all, you're going to get health care. But I understand the people that don't want to give you health care. I understand the people that are like, nah, this guy should live with the consequences of his political action. I get it. I understand it. Unfortunately, America has a healthcare system that values profit over people. The insurance my father had that I was on at the time is refusing to pay for one of my stays at the hospitals. A total cost of $84,000. I struggle to find work. Many places want to hire me as they seem to think people are born fresh out of the womb with retail experience. I'm trying my best to find some kind of stable income. It's been extremely difficult. Lumpen proletariat. Lumpen proletariat. My father's health insurance. So in other words, that's Obamacare. That's Obamacare. Obamacare is the one that kept you on health insurance as a young adult, kept you on your parents' health insurance until like 26 or whatever. That's Obamacare. Well, chat, Trump has just enacted tariffs on India. China keep winning. China keeps winning. I want you to understand something, chat. The same day that Trump is enforcing a 50% tariff on India, he granted 600,000 Chinese students visas in the United States.
It's coming our way.
All right, chat, we're getting the Minneapolis police update on the shooting.
On Chinese student visas on Monday, announcing he is allowing a massive wave of students into the U.S. It's a shift from a policy Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced in May that said the U.S. is revoking visas from Chinese students.
I hear so many stories about we're not going to allow their students, or we're going to allow their students to come in. We're going to allow, it's very important, 600,000 students.
U.S. Commerce Secretary
600,000 Chinese students. Meanwhile, full weight of American tariff slams into effect against India. China's buying Russian oil. As punishment for buying Russian oil, President Trump is doubling the tax on goods imported from India, jeopardizing a relationship decades in the making. Unabashed Chinese victory. Why would a Chinese person move here? I mean, America is still the wealthiest country in the world. And it's better to be rich in America than rich in China. Let's be honest. You could get away with murder here. So, like, you know, rich people in China are still rich people. President Trump on Wednesday followed through on his threat to impose a 50% tariff on nearly all goods arriving. By the way, we have good schools here, chat. Well, I mean, they're being destroyed by Trump, but we do have good schools. We do have like a good community. Like America is awesome in a lot of ways. Not to be ever overly patriotic, but I love so many Americans and so many people and so many places. And there's so many cool ass shit happening here. So many creative people, so much art, so much like great food, music, culture. I love like the national parks in America are incredible. There's a lot of really awesome things in America. It's just everything that we rely on collectively sucks and is so much worse than it should be. Like if America was actually run well, imagine. The 50% rate, half of which is punishment for India buying Russian oil, is expected to damage many Indian exporters that collectively employ millions of people. Oh man, dude. Can you imagine being India? You try to kiss American ass, and the punishment is you're treated even worse.
New tariffs which are in place in India, those 25% tariffs have now doubled. That's punitive measures put in place by the US president for India's ongoing purchase of cheap Russian oil. The 50% tariff is the highest on all US trading partners in Asia. New Delhi says the move is unjustified and unfair, while pointing to China, another major buyer of Russian oil, but with a tariff of 30%, facing no punitive actions from Washington. One US official says trade negotiations with China are ongoing, with an informal meeting set for later this week. And this coming Friday, a tariff exemption on goods sent to the US valued at less than $800 will expire.
That means, by the way, a bunch of postal services are not going to send anything to the US anymore. Like, this is crazy.
Means they will lose their duty-free status. And ahead of that deadline, postal services around the world have suspended delivery of those so-called small parcels, with Japan, Australia and Taiwan just the latest to do so. For the US, though, there has been one unmistakable benefit from Donald Trump's tariffs. In just one day, last Friday.
Like, look at this shit.
Okay, it may now be a little harder for you to get international packages shipped to the U.S. Now, multiple postal services across Europe, including Germany, Denmark, Sweden, and Italy, have stopped shipping most merchandise to the U.S. effective immediately. Now, they're saying there's a lack of clarity.
This has totally crushed my wife's small business in Canada for the moment. Can't send anything to the U.S. I'm so sorry, man.
Over U.S. tariff policy, specifically involving new import duties set to begin this week. All right, let's bring in ABC's Perry Russum in Washington for more. Okay, Perry, help me out with this. How is this going to affect American consumers?
Yeah, so this starts on Friday. So basically any package that comes into the U.S. valued at under $800 will have to go through customs and will have to be tariffed, basically taxed. That was waived before under what's called the de minimis tariff exemption, but President Trump effectively ended that after signing an executive order last month. But as you mentioned, there's major questions over how this is going to work, what information is needed for these packages, as well as who will be the ones doing the processing on this. So because of all this gray area right now, these companies have decided to just hit the pause button, take a step back, wait and see as more information comes forward in terms of how this is all going to work going forward. You know, just in the last week or so, U.S. Customs gave out some technical details on how this will work going forward. So it's a pretty quick turnaround from technical details to implementation. So another reason why some of these companies are waiting so long. You know, tariffs have been a major focal point for the Trump administration during the second term. President Trump has viewed this as a way to bring money into the U.S. to deal with the trade deficit, as well as create some manufacturing jobs here in the U.S. Trump has called de minimis tax exemption like a big scam hurting U.S. businesses. So now he is ending it.
All right, Perry Russum, thank you. I know you'll keep us updated.
Bringing in $22 billion in revenue for the U.S.
A good friend that lives in the UK illustrates portraits and other art-based projects and he's a marketplace, and most of her clientele is America. She's feeling the hit now, shipping fees too. It's so fucking bullshit, man. It's so fucking bullshit, man. Like, it's going to take us a long time. It's going to take a long time for us to fix the problems that have been created by these scumbags.
Treasury, with economists forecasting the total for the entire month of August could reach $32 billion. So live to Seoul now. CNN's Mike Valerio standing by for the very latest on those tariffs on India. The Indians' government said they will retaliate to these new measures put in place by Donald Trump. But what are their options at this point?
Did you hear what's going on in Denmark? That 3 men with personal ties to Trump caught trying to recruit for the Greenland independence movement. Oh, is the CIA interfering with European politics again? Is the American government interfering with European politics again? I'm so surprised. Oh my God. Anyway, I think you guys should get on your hands and knees more for Trump.
What can they do?
No pride. Europeans used to have like pride. I remember when I would call a Belgian a Frenchman, he would get angry. Now they crawl around on their hands and knees picking up Trump's leavings off the ground and gobbling it down. It's like every single one of you have a bedroom at H3H3's home, gobbling up the droppings of Trump.
So there are options. They could potentially cut taxes, but, you know, they're
more spineless than AB. Okay. All right. Hold on. Okay. You're going nuclear now. You're going nuclear. I'm just trying to prod the Europeans. I don't want to go nuclear. I don't want to call them fucking AB level. You're just being mean now. Listen, he needs to take you on his apartment tour. That's why he's got to dive across the fucking table to catch Ethan when Ethan was wearing high heels.
On the calculation is going to hold tight for now because the thinking is that Russian oil is so cheap they can perhaps eat these tariffs. But how long will that stay in play when perhaps orders are canceled in California, the ports of Los Angeles, New York, New Jersey, and then that forces Indian factory owners to cut their staff, their number of jobs. So if that happens across India, John, we have new reporting since the last time we saw you last hour of a factory owner saying that what is happening now is, from his point of view, worse than COVID in terms of the number of jobs that he has to cut. And what that could do on a macro level, we were talking about this the last hour, is perhaps, and we stress perhaps, move its thinking closer towards new ties with Russia and indeed with China if this action from the United States with these tariffs up to 50% holds for weeks or months. So why that matters is because Russia, India, and China have not exactly been the warmest of friends, especially with China and India. But we have India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi heading to the latest meeting this coming week or in the next few days of the Shanghai Economic Organization and Cooperation Summit, which is a group that is meant to hold regional security together, a group that was founded by Moscow and Beijing to challenge the world order, the Western-based world order from its point of view. Putin is going to be traveling to India by the end of the year. So what is this all doing? Perhaps strengthening ties between India, China, and Russia. To that end, we have Barka Dutt, a respected journalist in India, talking to our own Fareed Zakaria a couple days ago about the United States continuing its trade.
Like, I really don't understand how we climb out of the hole we're in. Like, China learned from the Soviet Union. The problem with like the early, like the MLs and the early central planers is they were super focused on heavy industry, and they really discounted the value of light industry. And so there was a consumer goods shortage throughout the Soviet Union's history, right? And when compared head to head against the United States, like most of the stuff you buy, like you only buy durable goods a few times a year, if that. Sometimes you buy a durable goods like every couple years. Like, how often are you buying a washing machine? How often are you buying a car? How often are you buying a stove, right? Like this stuff, the heavy, I mean, and that's like just appliances. That's still technically on the lighter side of industry. Most of the time you're thinking about light consumer goods. And the West had such a massive advantage on that light consumer goods side that people in the Eastern Bloc were envious of it. And they wanted that lifestyle. And China has gone the other way. China has said, yes, we're going to dominate heavy industry. Yes, we're going to produce the most concrete. Yes, we're going to produce the most steel. Yes, we're going to produce the most durable goods. But we're also going to be the producer of all light industry. We're going to be the factory of the world for everything, every fucking thing. I don't know how the United States competes. I don't know how the United States ever climbs out of being just dominated completely on industrial manufacturing. It doesn't even really seem plausible to me. Like, if you want some weird niche product made, you're going to China. It's just a fact.
With Russia and also China and the EU continuing trade with Russia as well. Let's listen to what she had to say.
India has pointed out repeatedly to the hypocrisy by the United States, by the...
Like, the reason why I think Trump, like, if there's any MAGA people here, unlikely, they're scared to actually have any of their ideas challenged. But if there are any MAGA people here, you understand that what Trump is doing, just setting taxes and shit, isn't going to work, right? Capitalists in America don't make long-term investments. They're just going to try to move around the factories to some other third world country. They're not going to bring them home and pay union wages. 8-Bit Amethyst puts it well. 3-month mindset. Yeah, a quarterly mindset. Like, they're only chasing the next month's. And like, if you look at the American stock market, it seems like nobody gives a fuck, that nothing seems to make sense, that there's no connection to actual productive labor. Nobody seems to give a fuck. Nobody seems to care. I don't understand how it's going to be fixed. We don't have the automation engineers. We don't have the process engineers. We don't have the know-how. I mean, there's an old clip that I like to play from Tim Cook, and it explains it. What has been fixed here? What has changed?
There's a confusion about China that, and let me
the Apple CEO chat.
There's a confusion about China that, and let me at least give you my opinion. The popular conception is that companies come to China because of low labor cost. I'm not sure what part of China they go to, but the truth is China stopped being the low labor cost country many years ago. And that is not the reason to come to China from a supply point of view. The reason is because of the skill and the quantity of skill in one location and the type of skill it is. Like the products we do require really advanced tooling, and the precision that you have to have in tooling and working with the materials that we do are state of the art. And the tooling skill is very deep here. You know, in the US, you could have a meeting of tooling engineers and I'm not sure we could fill the room. In China, you could fill multiple football fields. It's that vocational expertise is very deep, very, very deep here. And I give the education system a lot of credit for continuing to push on that, even when others were de-emphasizing vocational. Now I think many countries in the world have woke up and said, you know, this is a key thing and we've got to correct that. But China called that right from the beginning.
Like, I don't know how we fix this. Did Trump open a bunch of tooling engineers colleges that I missed? Is there a bunch of like free education and training programs to get us? Do we have like government guaranteed loans to subsidize the construction of factories? Are we building big infrastructure so that we could transport material around the country? Or are we developing rare earth mining facilities? Like, what the fuck is happening? Are we lowering electricity costs? Actually, on the contrary. Surprise, surprise, chat. The guy who was bribed by energy billionaires. U.S. electricity prices are skyrocketing. I don't know if you noticed this, but congratulations. You got rid of the wokes and utility bills are rising rapidly. Congratulations. You know what? Cheap solar from China. Congratulations. You get to buy extremely expensive oil. Great job, dipshit. You fucking did it.
Continues to rise along with higher utility bills. The Trump administration has promised to address this problem by increasing fossil fuel power generation. But a new study is highlighting ways that the U.S. could increase energy production and reach its emissions goals faster by increasing the use of solar energy. Tracy Wolf joins us now. She's the senior coordinating producer for the CBS News Climate Unit. Thank you for being here.
Dude, we're cooked. We don't have the manufacturing infrastructure. We don't have the education training system. It's over. I mean, all those are things that we know how to do and we know how to fix. It's not that hard. We just don't have the government that wants to do it because it's socialism. That's social democracy. That's socialism. So they just say no. Government can't do anything. We have to hire contractors that are scammers. We have to hire consultants who don't do anything but push paper. We have to have 8 layers of bureaucracy on everything we do. The right-wingers create these non-functional governments because they want to make an ideological point that government can't do anything, and then you're surprised that America's getting their ass kicked? Meanwhile, China just had a huge real estate bubble, and they popped it. When we had a real estate bubble that popped, it fucking wrecked our economy for 6 years. China has a real estate bubble that they popped, and now they have deflation. They're like, please buy more shit, everybody. Everybody, please get a house. They're so cheap. Please buy more consumer goods. Fill your house up with every trinket that you want. Please, God, spend more money. Meanwhile, in the U.S., they're making the Snickers bar smaller. Is this even America? Walmart is making the Snickers bar smaller? Like, what is the point of being an American now? We don't even have our treats anymore. Americans are getting skinny. This is the thing that's like, we are not in the America I grew up in. Candy's getting smaller and people are getting skinnier. Like, what America is this? The only thing that's growing is the amount of fucking filler everybody's injecting into their face, which looks like shit, by the way. This is my most boomer ass take, and I'm gonna stand 10 toes down on it. Filler looks like shit. I hate Botox and I hate filler. It looks like garbage. I like when people could actually make facial expressions. This is my absolute truth nuke. And you know, things were actually awesome for a while where people were like, we like thick women. I was eating. And now everybody is going the way of GLP-1. We're going back to like skinny blonde bitches. Why? Why? What happened to the male gaze? What happened to the male gaze? Whose gaze is this? It makes me sad. It's not the America I grew up in. Give me treats. Give me the thick women, for the love of God.
What were the biggest takeaways from this study?
Well, as you said, we need to be creating more power faster, getting it onto the grid. And it would be great if when we're doing that, we're not creating more pollution that's going into the atmosphere. It would be nicer to do that for the planet, for our public health. So what this study found is that back in 2023, 60% of our power generation was created by fossil. Less than 4% actually came from solar. Now, the study just found that if we just increased that to 15%, that would reduce 8.5 million metric tons of carbon emissions a year. Now, that's equal to driving almost 2 million cars on the road for a year. So every little bit counts, but where you put
the thing about solar panels are they're only cheap in every other country. In America, all we have, if you want to buy solar, it's super fucking expensive because Joe Biden, thanks Joe, is he dead yet? Joe Biden put massive tariffs on solar panels. So now all the solar panels you buy are super fucking expensive in this shithole fucking country. I want to be a smuggler. I want to smuggle solar. Like, I seriously want to do this. This is just me bullshitting. I'm just kidding. But why isn't anybody smuggling this shit? It's like, why isn't the mafia buying solar panels cheap and then smuggling them in the country without paying tariffs? Come on, Tony Soprano, where are you at? I saw you do it with cigarettes. You'd smuggle cigarettes into New York City, not pay his taxes. Where are you? Why aren't you smuggling some solar fucking panels in? Where's the woke mafia? Where's the organized crime I can believe in? Did you see the Gamers Nexus vid about GPU smuggling? No, link me immediately because that's fucking awesome. And I agree. I have a 4090 chat and I got it before the terror. I bought it like, I want to say September 2024. When did I get my new computer, chat? Do you guys remember? Or was it 2023? I don't remember. I've had it for a minute. It got taken down by a Bloomberg copy claim. What the fuck? Mike, you have a rusting. You had that rusting 13th gen Intel CPU. No, I have a 14th gen. I have the ones that were cooked by the bad BIOS. I had a CPU that was cooked by the bad BIOS bullshit. Very annoying.
The solar also matters. If you put the solar in more sunny places like California, the Southwest, Texas, Florida, they actually saw higher decreases in emissions versus putting solar.
They DMCA'd him? I hate them. I hate everyone. I hate the Ethan Kleinification of the internet. Everyone is so fucking annoying now. The Ethan Kleinification of the internet, which is like, dish it out but can't take it. Talk big in your fucking basement surrounded by dog shit, but the moment you're on Rodeo Drive and somebody asks you about Palestine, suddenly you're chanting Free Palestine. Like, the Ethan Kleinification of the internet is just the worst. I'm gonna sue you for doing the thing I told you to do and gave you express permission to do just to waste everybody's fucking time. And like, I didn't think much of the like centrist slop tuber guys, the like free speech guys before. I knew they were all right wingers. They were embarrassed Nazis and they were all like little cucks. But the way they have aligned themselves with like Ethan Klein's lawsuits, maybe the most pathetic. Like, I thought they had no value, but I thought they valued one thing, which was like free speech absolutism. I thought maybe it would be too much of a bitch made loser move to do to go along with Ethan Klein's totally meritless lawsuits. But they're complete cucks. And they got tricked by the anti-Hassan botting.
Trump administration on this issue. The numbers speak for the...
By the way, if Bloomberg claims you, counterclaim their ass. Counterclaim their fucking ass. Make them sue you. You have a big channel. Don't be a fuck. You got 1 million views on this. Don't be a fucking coward. Counterclaim. I'm sure he. Okay, I'm sorry for speaking up. I'm sure he did. I didn't mean to like say he's a coward or anything.
And slightly shadier, not as sunny places like the Northeast, the Midwest, and other places. So it does matter where you put it, but again, it always helps to start reducing.
So how have the shifting energy policies under the Trump administration affected what happens next for solar?
Right. It's definitely a very different landscape under the Trump administration for solar energy than it was under Biden. You know, under Biden, we saw this big shift to tax incentives that was really developing out solar, industrial solar, rooftop residential solar. A lot of those tax credits went away under the Trump administration. With the signing of the big, beautiful bill earlier this month, you know, most of those tax incentives were supposed to be kind of long-term things, and now they're going to end a lot sooner. So there is kind of a push to build and get those tax incentives while they're still available, but they're going to be ending a lot sooner. And the Trump administration is really going all in on fossil fuels. They want to build fossil fuel-based generation, coal, natural gas, and that's really where everything.
So a lot of potential change on the horizon here.
Definitely.
Tracy Wolf, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
This is a CBS News special report. I am Nate Burleson with Kelly O'Grady here in New York. We have breaking news in Minneapolis this morning, a report of an active shooting.
Everything is so fucking stupid now.
Themselves, $3.5 billion trade value between the United States and Russia in 2024 alone. Millions of value in imports of fertilizers and uranium.
And, you know,
one of the things I want to start doing, chat, is talking about ideas more. Because can I talk to you guys about my personal despair and my kind of like position we're in right now? Is like, I've been looking at the political discourse at different places on the internet, and I gotta tell you, chat, you motherfuckers are dumb. Not you guys in here, but just the political discourse that goes on. Everyone's fucking stupid. And I'm not trying to be like an arrogant guy who thinks I'm better than anyone. I want you to understand that I don't think I'm better than you, but like the discourse cycles that we're in are fucking dumb. Like the reason why I haven't posted on TikTok in a couple weeks or like a month or whatever is because every time I go on TikTok and look at like what political people are talking about, it's dumb as dirt. It's actually dumber than I thought possible. And it actually saps my motivation instantly. Because I look at what people are talking and how they're talking, and it's fucking worthless. How many times can you post, you guys should have voted for Kamala, or we didn't vote for Kamala because she did a genocide? Like, how many times can you make the exact same fucking posts? That's all it is. It's the same shit, back and forth, the same exact shit. And the Gavin Newsom conversation is even dumber. You gotta support Gavin Newsom. Stop priority testing. It's 2025. No one has even filed a exploratory committee for the presidency. Do you guys even know what an exploratory committee is? Like, you're talking about Gavin Newsom like he's the Democratic nominee. He's 15% underwater in national approval. His first thing to do after the Trump election was to suck Charlie Kirk off and tell him how much his son loves Charlie Kirk. Like, he's not him. There is absolutely no conversations being had about issues, about politics, about what we should be running on that people will actually believe in and like and love. It's the dumbest conversation, and it's from all sides. It's just complete trash. There's nothing of value happening. There's no, like, it is legitimately worthless. I don't mean to bag on leftists too much, but the leftist commentary is dog shit too. I looked at TikTok yesterday. People were trying to say China is doing imperialism and then citing the U.S. State Department. And there was a big like infighting over China is colonizing Africa. Here's my proof, the CIA. And I was like, wait a minute. This is what you're talking about? Like, this is it? And then there's people going like, elections, if you vote for anybody or you get excited about Zoran, then you're stupid. What we really need to do is a general strike. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The Con Intel Pro is strong. I didn't see one good, intelligent post, and I was looking hard, and I just felt my energy just go to zero. I was like, why do I want to even post into this cesspit? This is where you come in, you clip and ship what you want to see the discourse. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I'm thinking about it, chat. And the thing is, like, I've been thinking a lot about politics lately, and like, I know we're in the slow period, chat. It's August of the year after a presidential election. This is the most boring period for politics. It's when people are the most tired. It's when the elections are furthest away. It's the dog days of summer. You want to get out there and like live life. Like politics sucks right now. So how do we turn it around? How do we make it more relevant? How do we get people out of these fucking cycles of repeating themselves? How many times can you yell leftists are to blame or liberals are to blame? Now, I come down firmly on the side that Kamala Harris is to blame for the world that we live in today. She refused to be moved. We protested. We tweeted. We showed up at her rallies. We called her campaign offices. We responded on the phone. We organized protests. We organized the uncommitted movement. We did everything we could to raise our voices and say, hey, Kamala, we want to support you, but please, can you say you're going to go a different way on Israel? Just please give us something. Give us anything to hold on to. And she said, fuck you. For every 2 people I lose, I'm going to get him. For every person I lose, I'm going to get 2 moderate Republicans. And her support about Republicans went down compared to Biden. How do I get people to want to talk about policies again? How do I get people to stop talking about politics like the way that they do? I don't know. I really don't know. How do I get you to stop being passive consumers and stands of politicians to actually demanding shit? How do I get people to stop repeating the same old shit over and over and over again? We are so cooked, it's not even funny. Kamala Harris. Yeah, that's true. She was Kamala Harris. She promised to have the most lethal military. What are you even doing here? What is the point of this? Donald Trump is president now, and you were in the minority. I saw one TikTok that was really good. I want to show you a TikTok that I saw that was really good. Let me see if I liked it. I hope I did. I fucking hope I did.
How about, as a general rule, if you liked the Kamala Harris campaign, if you thought it was exciting, if you really thought it was cool, you are out of touch with the electorate. And so anything in the future that you and people like you find exciting, but you notice nobody else finds exciting, is probably loser shit. And I say this not because I harbor any sort of special disdain for you, but because your political instincts are just wrong, and we know they're wrong because they were proven wrong. So generally speaking, you should stop listening. If the Democratic Party wowed you in 2024, you are a very small minority. And we know this because every single county moved right, with the exception of some places. And since 2024, the Democrats have lost 4.5 million registered voters. For the first time in this country in a long time, there are more new registered voters who are Republicans than Democrats. It is exceedingly clear that the Democrat strategy is just not working. So if that strategy works on you, that's fine, but you shouldn't expect it to work on everybody else. Some people have higher or different standards. The way to win elections, though, is not to insist that everyone lower their standards to where yours are at, because that's not. The way to win elections is to get your party to meet those standards. I know, it's annoying, but that is just how it. So if your political instincts were so wrong-headed that you legitimately thought that Kamala Harris was a exciting candidate, that's not your fault, but we just don't have to listen to you in regards to political analysis, because where you are is not where the rest of us. Again, it's fine to be wrong. I just don't understand when we started having the hubris to get mad at everybody else for being correct, rather than simply changing your opinions and your strategies to the correct one. And again, we know that you're wrong on how to win an election because there was just a candidate who ran in a way that you thought was how to win an election, and she lost. And that's not really up for debate. You were just wrong.
By the way, the reason why the Democratic Party and their fans talk the way they do is because it's about an intra-party squabble, right? And the only argument the centrists have is they're not actually going to make your life better. This is the only way to beat the Republican. And the reality is that it's not. It did not beat the Republicans. Now, maybe going to the left won't work either, but we haven't even tried. In fact, the most left-wing campaign as far as aesthetics of my life was the 2008 Barack Obama campaign. The 2008 Barack Obama campaign ran on a hope and change, on codifying Roe v. Wade, and a massive expansion of healthcare. Like, this was a campaign that was about change. Now, he was a liar. He squandered that opportunity. He sided with capitalists. He was a centrist. He was a warmonger. He betrayed everybody's hopes and dreams, and that's why he handed the keys to the White House to Donald Trump in a Republican trifecta. because he betrayed us. He didn't do what it was necessary to win, but at least aesthetically he ran to the left. And you know what happened? He won Iowa. He won Indiana. He won North Carolina. He won Florida. These are places that are considered safe red states now. Why the fuck don't you want to run a left-leaning campaign? So if you, like the idea that we got to do this because they're electable, it's just bunk. And all the polls show it. All the results show it. So, okay, how do we get these people to change their minds? The answer is the people that are saying this type of shit, they are just stands, okay? They identify with the Democratic Party. They like whatever the Democratic Party is doing, okay? The 99% of these people just hate Republicans, which, by the way, is completely valid. I despise Republicans, but the difference between me and you is I hate Republicans and the Democrats that enable them, whereas you have been mentally colonized into believing that the best way to fight Republicans is to appease Republicans. And that is why you lose. If you want to beat the Republicans, you have to stand up to the Republicans. I want to the Republican Party, like FDR. There's one clip of FDR, which shows you the energy we need. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. I think this is it.
Warn you, and let me warn the nation against the smooth evasion that says, of course we believe these things. We believe in social security. We believe in work for the unemployed. We believe in saving homes. Cross our hearts and hope to die. We believe in all these things. But we do not like the way the present administration is doing them. Just turn them over to us. We will do all of them. We will do more of them. We will do them better. And most important of all, the doing of them will not cost anybody anything.
That's how you have to treat Republicans. The most successful Democratic politician by electoral results in American history treated the Republicans with utter contempt. That's how you treat Republicans if you want to win. And I don't know if you noticed, but that's what Donald Trump did to the Democrats. Donald Trump won by treating Democrats with contempt, by spitting in Democrats' faces, by saying they were cucks and they were losers and they were criminals, by threatening to throw them in prison. Donald Trump got people to switch from voting Democrat to Republican by going after the Democrats with utter contempt. He didn't appease a Democrat ever. The American people are fed up with the status quo. If you want to win, we must be the party of change, and we have to have contempt for the Republicans. Now, I despise the Republicans more than you. That's why I didn't like Kamala Harris's campaign, because she was kissing Republican ass, and she alienated her own people. Minnesota shooter confirmed trans. Trump will send in the National Guard. Oh no. Oh no. Shooter confirmed trans. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't think I think the game we play where we try to like figure out the identity of a shooter and the political beliefs of a shooter is the dumbest, most pathetic thing that political commentators do, where they're just like, no, this guy was actually a right winger, which proves my point right. Or no, this guy's a left winger. That proves me right.
Our hearts are broken for everyone that's been affected by this tragedy. As we begin the difficult path of healing, I want the community to know this, that even in the face of such evil, the Minneapolis Police Department and all of our law enforcement partners stand with our community. We stand with these families and with this parish. We will continue to be here for you. With that, the investigation is obviously in its preliminary stages, and I will attempt to take some questions to provide further information.
What can you tell us about the suspect in this case? How old was he? Any kind of motivation?
So we were looking, the question was, what can be said about the shooter? We believe it is one suspect, a sole shooter. We believe he is deceased. He is in his early 20s, does not have an extensive known criminal history, and we are looking through information left behind to try and determine some type of motive.
For students, do you have about...
How many children? There were I don't have an exact, the question was how many children at the school. There were dozens of children inside the mass at the time. I don't have an exact count. The children have been relocated into the school, which is where their families are reunifying with them. Reg, the question was, do we know if the shooter was a former school employee or a former student? We don't have that information. There's a vehicle. The question was anything left behind? There's a vehicle that we believe that the suspect used that is being searched. And we will be conducting other searches related to this inside the parking lot here. So the question was, neighbors had said that the door to the church had been barricaded. The shooter approached on one side of the church building, and on that side, at least two doors, it appears there had been like a 2x4 placed. So not all of the doors around the building, but on the side where the shooter did fire. On the outside, yes. The question was there any explosives? There were reports of that. There were no explosives or improvised devices that we found. I do believe there was one, I guess you would call it a smoke bomb, like not an explosive, but a sort of a firework that would release smoke. The side that is closest to us here, on this side, yep. I don't have specific information on that I can release. The question was, is he dead from a gunshot wound? The answer is yes. We believe he took his own life. The question was he shooting outside and inside? He was absolutely shooting outside of the building on the side of the church, inside through the windows. It appears he may have gone inside, but I don't believe we've located any casings inside the building. So I'm not certain if he fired also while inside. It appears, if not all, most of the shooting happened outside the building. So, yeah, Taylor's asking, is this related to any of the other shootings? This does not appear to be related to any other shooting in the city. The question was how many rounds? I would say it's in the dozens. We don't have an exact count. There's a sidewalk on the outside as well as a grassy area. So obviously we are going through and taking our time to process the scene. The question was he firing one weapon? We believe he had fired all three. He had a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. Were the weapons, was he lawfully carrying the weapons? I don't have that information. And I don't have any information on any significant criminal history either. It appeared he had some black clothing on, his cargo type pants. I guess you could interpret that however you like.
We have a lot more work. We will return back later today to provide more details as they become available, and we'll let you know how you can know about that in the moments to come. Thank you. How can the public help?
So there's not really much in the way of information other than the shooter's dead. They had a rifle. They say it's a male. That's about it. So there is no confirmation of anything. Why is that Nazi so easily tricked? Why are like Asmongold viewers? Asmongold loves mass shooters, dude. Like, why are you pretending like if it was a trans person, it would be some sort of win for you? Asmongold loves mass shooters. He was a huge fan of the Norway mass shooter terrorist. He named his WoW character after him. Like, what do you mean? I mean, like, honestly, if you were Asmongold, you would probably be a nihilist too. Anders Breivik, excuse me. Like, honestly, if you were Asmongold, you would probably be kind of nihilistic, wouldn't you? Like, he has everything you're told you're supposed to want. A platform, infinite money, easiest job on the planet, and yet no one likes him. He doesn't have a family. He's surrounded by filth. I mean, every day he wakes up, he's probably ashamed of himself, right? Like, I know there's a lot of coping about the roaches and the filth, but he probably doesn't like that he lives like that. Like, when he got banned and he did his groveling apology, he like cleaned up his house during his ban. Like, he did some cleaning. So obviously it bothers him. Obviously it's not something he likes. So he just wakes up with like unbelievable shame every day. And he looks around and he probably is in like a little bit of pain from like rotting teeth and not having a good diet and just the air. Ugh. Like, you would probably be a nihilist, right? If you had such bad executive dysfunction that you couldn't even clean up after yourself as a grown man, you'd probably be really depressed and ashamed, right? Like, I mean, I get it.
I should say, John, I'm coming off stretch with the flu, little brain fuzz at the moment.
Did you work out recently? Yes, I worked out on Monday. My next workout plan is today. We have begun the workout plan. We have begun. And you know, I'm doing some compound lifts, deadlifts, bench press, overhand press, barbell rows. What else is in my thing? Squats, obviously. I need to do some like calf exercises. I need to like add in some calf exercises. You can bench half your body weight now. As a man, you should bench your body weight. I feel like that is a sign that you're in good shape. If you can bench your body weight, I think you're in good shape. If you can bench more than your body weight as a man, you're strong. So that's what we're working on. That's what we're working on. I don't think a lot of people can bench more than like 200, right? Like, isn't that like a pretty good bench? You're repeating Ben Shapiro? Really? Ben Shapiro can't bench. Like 225 is considered good, right? I mean, like the first goal is the 135 bench because you want to have 45s, one plate. I haven't really like pushed myself towards a rep max. I'm just like getting in and just doing the trying to work on form right now. And 225 is 2 plates, right? That's pretty good. That's a pretty good bench. Apparently everyone tries to bench 315 now. There's been inflation in what good benches now. I think a lot more guys are using gear. I think gear use is like way up. I think a lot more guys are using like steroids and various other hormonal shit. The thing about like steroids or any kind of hormonal boost, I feel like I want to max, like I'm not like inherently against people doing like hormone replacements or whatever, but I feel like I want to work out for at least a couple of years to get to my true natural max before I do something like that. That just seems like, that seems really, really dangerous, and that you need to really like to do something like that. Mike, who are you listening to for fitness advice? Don't fall for this YouTube slop fitness standards fake powerlifting grift. I don't know. I don't think it really matters right now. I'm still untrained. I'm still untrained. I'm not an ego lifter. I'm untrained. It's been 10 years since I seriously worked out. If you're doing 3 plates, the gym is basically your job. The amount of protein you need to consume to be able to build that muscle is absurd. Get a personal trainer. It's worth the money. I honestly should. But I want to be in the gym for a little bit. I don't want to just be like at absolute zero before I get, but maybe I should get one. Who knows? All right, let's keep going.
Bungled that name. Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Forgive me forever. Again.
Mike is going to become a scientist. Of course I am. Of course I am. Have you met me? I'm a fucking nerd. Of course I'm going to want to make sure that what I'm doing is effective. Of course I'm going to try to not be efficient with my time. Of course I'm going to try to like follow what seems to be the most empirically supported. What else are you going to do? Make it up? Is there any sport or activity you're interested in? Only lifting is 5 for health, but unless lifting is your passion, then it gets boring on its own. I don't currently have any activities. I don't have any activities that I'm working out to, but I used to be an ice hockey player. Maybe I could get back into some sort of combat sport. Not necessarily like fighting other people, just like hitting a bag. We'll see. Anyway, let's get back to talking about Trump destroy our country.
Off the flu, but the point here is that as we are watching this developing in the days and weeks ahead, we're going to be seeing what cooperation is like between India and the United States. Ministers between the State Department and India's Ministry of External Affairs met virtually on Monday, and they said, as far as things go with the Quad, the security group that involves India, the United States, Australia, and Japan, things are as they have been. Cooperation was reaffirmed. President Trump and prime ministers who lead the Quad are supposed to meet later.
What is my team? I started watching ice hockey as a child in the year of our Lord, 1989 to 1990, and 1991 to 1992, and 1992 to 1993. The year of our Lord. What was the most insane crack team in 1991? How many Hall of Famers were on the 1991 team? If you want to understand how insane the Penguins of 1991 were, they had a Hall of Fame center as the third liner. They had a defenseman that was scoring like 160 points. You think Mario is better than Wayne though? I would take Mario over Wayne any day. The problem with Mario is he got cancer and he had like back problems and shit, which I get that being somebody who doesn't get hurt is part of what makes someone the GOAT. But let me just say that the Mario's physical dominance at his peak was insane. Like Mario peak season versus Wayne peak season, I'd probably rather have Mario
this year. But as stock prices continue to tank, one wonders how much longer this will be able to continue. Will we have a trade deal between the United States and India after 5 rounds of negotiations failing? So a lot of dynamics to be watching. Definitely the biggest economic story in Asia happening today. So we will be watching who moves first. What happens with these storylines, John?
Yeah, I mean, this is the whole thing. Who's going to blink? And at this point, no one seems ready to blink. So we'll wait and see. Mike Valeria there in Seoul. Hope you're getting better. We all hate a cold or flu. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
CNN's Anna Kuban breaks down the numbers.
Like the 1991 Pens were fucking insane. Well, maybe we'll talk about it some other time, chat. But like, if you go and look at that roster, it's like Hall of Fame, 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 Hall of Fame.
On how the new tariffs will affect India.
Yeah, by the way, this is Taco Trump. The stock market's like, oh, we're putting 50% tariffs on India? Who gives a shit?
It already been hit by 25% tariffs. Now an additional 25% is being added. India is about to face one of the highest effective US tariff rates in the world. That's the rate that once you calculate various exemptions. That's because after Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022 and Europe started sanctioning Russian oil, Russia focused on selling its barrels to Asia, and India became a big customer. By June this year, nearly 47% of Russian crude oil had been sent to China, and around 38% had been sent to India. Now, last month, Trump announced secondary sanctions on countries purchasing this oil. After that, a crude oil analyst at Kepler noted a slowdown in purchases from India, and that those barrels are being snapped up by China. They noted around 15 cargoes had been sent to China. But that hasn't been enough to stop these sanctions from coming into effect today. That could make certain items that the US gets from India a lot more expensive, from jewelry.
Whenever the stock market actually becomes pessimistic, the level of crash that we're gonna see is going to be legendary. Like when Ronald Reagan had a crash, the Trump crash is gonna be big. It's gonna be the biggest crash you've ever seen. They're gonna crush those PE multiples. We're gonna go from overheated to pure panic. I think we might see a negative 10,000 day. Like it's going to be that much of a panic freak out because the economy sucks. Consumer spending is down. All sorts of assets are not increasing in price except for the stock market. The country is not actually doing very well. Inflation isn't low because of all this shit. And so the Federal Reserve is not going to have the same kind of ability to cut rates. Donald Trump is interfering in all sorts of dumb shit. He's attacking our ability to even collect data about the economy. The moment there is like some real panic, it's going to be so bad.
To jeans. And if that demand is cut down, it could have an impact on jobs in India. But the actual impact on Indian GDP is not predicted to be that significant. You can see here it's just around a knock of around 0.
Chat, Vio brought me, it's like a kielbasa fried rice. He says it's a bento. Doesn't it have to have a box to be a bento? Nice. Nice. It's 10 a.m. Yeah, I wake up at 6. When you wake up early, you eat early lunch, bitch.
0.8% based on these tariffs. Now, engineering goods and electricals are a significant portion of the products that India will ship to the US. Earlier this year, India actually overtook China to become the biggest exporter of smartphones to the United States, according to research firm Canalys. But smartphones are exempt from these sanctions, which could provide some relief. Other goods will continue to be sold to the rest of the world without facing a tariff increase. Anna Kuban, CNN, London.
Okay, Chad, I just want to do my my daily check-in at... Can I just say that I fucking adore all of the molding that Hassan causes and how so many people have to try to bot and cheat, hey, Asmongold and Tectone, to try to get into a fraction of our power. Like, people have said that I'm Hassan's Tectone, which is like the worst insult I've ever received in my life. But he has to bot his ass off to get a fraction of our power. It's crazy. And by the way, chat, notice that Tectone doesn't deny being botted. Notice that Tectone doesn't deny being botted to hell. Notice that Asmongold doesn't deny being botted. Because they fucking clearly are. And they know that they are. And so when Asmongold says like, oh, I'm the number one, like when people go, he's the number one politics streamer. No, he's not. He's got a smaller community on Twitch than Hassan. That's why nobody's writing any news stories about Asmongold. There's a reason why Fox News isn't going like, look at the new in touch guy on the right wing. Because if Fox News looked at Asmongold, their minds would explode. Do you know how many boomers would fucking lose their shit if they saw this rotten... Like, think about your boomer Republican mom seeing Asmongold. They would lose their fucking minds. Thank you, Vio. The boop. And like, Brett Cooper is my favorite of all of the right-wing Malders because she's in a studio chat. She's in a fake streaming studio with a fake laptop. This is a set. This isn't a bedroom. This is a fucking set.
That it's losing them votes. Because remember, a few months ago...
Dude, no, this is not real. No one cares. Are you kidding me? Shut the f up. This is so dumb. Also, here's Eric Adams posting. Mayor Eric Adams, 64 versus 33. A lifetime of hard work versus a silver spoon. The results speak for themselves. The weight of the job is too heavy for Mom Scrawny. The only thing he can lift is your taxes. Okay, first of all, I hate being an annoying ass foreign police here, but like Eric Adams is a lifelong lifter and he's obviously in great shape for his age. Having said that, as a lifelong lifter, he knows better. He knows better. Why are you... Two things. One, making fun of someone for not being able to put up big weight is a big no-no, okay? That's number one. Making fun of someone for not being able to put up big weight is a major no-no in gym circles, okay? Only the weakest, most insecure people do that. That's number one. Number two, the only time when you can do that, the only time when it's valid is if someone is very clearly insecure about that and is behaving in like a way, like when they're doing it to other people. It would be valid if I were to, for example, turn around and make fun of Eric Adams for demonstrating the worst form in spite of the fact that he knows that you're supposed to bring the bar all the way down to your chest, for example. Let's go. Okay? Instead of this half rep bullshit. Okay? He knows better.
So chat, now I just got back in the gym. I'm untrained. I would never, ever, if somebody made fun of me, the answer to that would be, yeah, I'm untrained. You're right. I need to get back in the gym more. But it would be such a bitch-made move to do that, right? Because everybody starts somewhere. And speaking about insecure dudes, take a look at this post. Right after he got banned, this is what Tectone posted.
Hey, sorry, Canoe. I know you gave me until August 1st to beat Hassan's max bench of 285, but I realize I'm getting a tattoo tomorrow, so I got 5 days less to prepare than I thought. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it right now. This is my max bench. I'm going to do it easily. 290. Let's get it done.
The whole bar isn't even on the screen. Why the fuck did he not? Why wasn't he able to like film it correctly? Like, what the fuck? We can't even see. Maybe someone's grabbing the bar over here. Like, I'm sure he can do it, but it's like, can you film better? You're a fucking streamer. He's gonna help him get it off the rack? Okay. Holy dude, he like dropped that out of his chest. Jesus Christ, that's dangerous. He like bounced it off his chest. What the fuck? Help off the rack is normal. Thank you.
It's that easy. 290. Not even a problem. Oh yeah.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations, man, on the rep. But I don't know, man. It's like, am I being homophobic to say it's kind of like It's giving sexual attraction to like make your entire goal in life to be like around the same weight as another guy. Like it's giving some like, it's kind of uncomfortable. Like that you think about another man that much where you're like, I'm gonna lift 5 pounds more than him. And then like post a video. Like you get banned from Twitch because you want to be able to say the F slur. And the first thing you say, the first thing you post after you get banned for saying the F slur and how we all should be able to do the F slur is about how you are obsessed with Hassan's weight and you want to lift 5 pounds more than him. Mike, is this your way of saying you have the hots for Tectone? In what way is this me saying I have the hots for Tectone? I'm observing the man mauling over Hassan after his botted stream got banned. Like that is, I don't know what that is, but it ain't straight.
And he's also in the process of making fun of another man.
Kind of yeah, it is kind of romantic in a certain type of sense. He's like, notice me, Hassan. Notice me, please. Look how much work I'm doing in the gym for you, Hassan. Like he thinks about him, like honest to God, Tectone thinks more about Hassan than his like parasocial fans posting thirst talks are.
Not being able to put up too much weight. And this is only 135 pounds. It's not like it's big weight. Do a full rep then, Eric. Why are you talking shit? Anyway, but I still do think his spotter is also holding his bar. It's just like, it's just messed up. It's messed up. It's messed up to like dunk on someone for not being able to put up big weight. That's so stupid, I think. Why are they also, are they saying he was just like holding it up the entire time? Is that what it is? Is that because he's still super hands-on with his, I mean, his spotter is like in both circumstances, this spotter is putting his hands on the bar, which is somewhat of a no-no. I mean, it's like, it varies, I guess, gym by gym. Everyone's got their own seasoning on how they would do it. But like in my gym, you're not supposed to touch it until the bar goes down, okay? As long as the bar path is clear and as long as the bar is going up, you're not supposed to touch it until lockout. The only time where you actually touch it, the only time where you intervene and put your hands on the bar is if the bar starts going down. Also, yeah, look at Eric Adams. Nobody is Eric Adams. And look at Zoran. Everybody loves it. Also...
First of all, I love my noodle arm as a fellow noodle arm haver.
She say no, you gotta go. I'm so sorry, but absolutely nothing. She's counterfeit, nigga, bitches.
Yo, dude, things are just, they're just gorgeous, you know? They're just gorgeous. Did I never play sports, lift at high school? Oh, of course I did. That was a long time ago, bro. That was a long time ago, bro.
Not everybody has to lift weights. I mean, I'm a fan of weightlifting. It's not a secret. Secret's out. Okay. You guys know this already. Having said that, it's not for everybody. As long as you're healthy, as long as you're like doing something, right? And you're getting active. Oh, she mentions you at 14, 12.
Blamed for this dangerous and scary protein craze. They did a whole profile on Hassan Piker where they said that because he worked out, because he has like visible abs and flexes and posts photos on his Instagram, and then he has a MAGA body. Like they are saying the quiet part out loud. They are acknowledging that health is not important to them, that fitness is a right-wing thing. Like that is where we have gotten right now. So no wonder your revolution.
Yeah, I mean, fitness is not a right-wing thing, and it's very frustrating that people have like done this. And once again, I would go so far as to say it's not dissimilar to the ways in which in like the Gamergate craze, a lot of liberals themselves actually represented like the hysterical woke scold style cartoonish depiction of the left willingly and voluntarily. We have too much marketing people on our side ideologically to consistently allow our opponents to...
It's so funny that she mentions him. She mentioned Hassan because everybody knows, and this is some lore. Old Hassan heads remember that he can't keep getting away with it. Everybody remembers that he can't keep getting away with it. But you know who definitely remembers it? Brett Cooper. She's got a crush on him. This was the Daily Wire polygraph test.
I think Hassan Piker is hot.
No. Why do you think it's so hard? She belongs to the chat. Yes, in some photos.
The cuck energy of Sneeko is incredible. Also, can I just point out that this is the most twinky body type I've ever seen? This is like Fire Island's ideal body. Why do right-wing men want to have their right-wing streamer with a perfectly shaved chest, shirtless streaming? I'm sorry, guys, but I'm just noticing. Okay? I'm not saying that he's appealing to a certain type of homosexual, closeted conservative man. But, like, it's very interesting.
Please be lying.
Recently, don't like the hair. Before, yes.
It's fair. I mean, he is.
Yeah, he's built.
Yo, it's even worse than I remembered, dude. I forgot the questioner was, like, a kind of sassy black man. Can you... The Daily Wire, dude. Like, conservative movement is so like all the like professional conservative movement, whether it is the media or whether it's like conservative staffers, I swear to God, there's more gay men in the professional conservative movement space than in the fucking Democrats or even the left. It's absolutely chock full. Like when the RNC comes into town, Grindr crashes.
Do you think?
No!
Crushing an empty aluminum can to restore his masculinity as he cries. Oh my lord, dude. Oh my lord, dude. Is Hassan gonna bring it up, chat? Did Hassan bring it up? Does he bring up Brett Cooper? He didn't bring it up? Oh my god, how did he not?
Frame the conversation around a reality that does not exist. If you look at the real world, if you look at, not that it matters whether someone is like physically fit or not, ultimately, I don't give a shit about that kind of thing, even though I personally like it. And I think it's good if people are physically fit in general. But from a political perspective, I don't think it says anything about your politics. Having said that, however, if you were to look at like areas where a lot of Democrats congregate versus areas where a lot of Republicans congregate, and you just put a lineup of like the average Republican versus the average Democrat, I think the physically fit voters would most likely lean on the side of the average Democrat. It's partially born out of material conditions, of course. It's born out of like having disposable income or time to go to the gym, not living in a food desert. Republican areas are poorer on average than Democrat areas are. And a lot of Democrats do care about their health in way more meaningful ways than the Republicans do. It's kind of it's not dissimilar to like gaming, right? People just think like, oh, gaming is right wing. All gamers are right wing. They're all shitheads. That's not the case. That's not the case at all. It's just that they flood the market with this kind of commentary to try to make it seem as though that's the case. And the same goes for gym culture and shit. They flood the market with content creators that are finding themselves on the apolitical side, which usually snaps to reactionary commentary, reactionary politics. Same with anime, same with everything else. It's very frustrating to experience. Would you say that the main divide between the right and left is how empathetic people are? Because I feel like that's the case in so many cases. Yes. I think when it's if you bring it back to like two different poles and what like first principles look like without actually identifying them, without actually like getting too far into ideological tendencies and whatnot, it genuinely comes from individualism and empathy. That's it. People on the left flank of politics, adjusted to whatever time frame, adjusted to whatever country, adjusted to whatever culture you want to present, are always going to be the more empathetic side. And people on the right flank of politics, whatever you want to call them, right, are always going to be more on the individualist, selfish, less empathetic side. It's that simple. I got mine. It's a constant struggle, you know, for everybody else. That's why I always say, like, my politics are about not being a head. Okay? That's what it comes down to. That's unironically what it comes down to. Everything else is just like seasoning. Everything else is just marketing. Okay? Yeah, party of me versus party of we.
Left-wing Democratic Socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani can't even bench 135 without a spot. And you might be saying, Brett, you can't even bench 135. I I know. But when you go on X, there were so many women on there we're saying, okay, I know that I can't do this, but like men, this is your wheelhouse. Like, what is, you know, an average, what do I want to say, PR? Like, what do you guys actually bench? And the replies were hysterical. People were like, no, 135 is like my warm up. And people were like, there are all of these threads of like, yeah, 250, 180, whatever. I asked Alex, apparently his PR was, I think it's 285. Hopefully I'm not butchering that. Love you if I am. He said don't expect him to do that anymore because he like blew out his shoulder in college trying to do that. But anyway, that is what is going on here. Like, no wonder your big candidate can't do that when this is the culture that you've created, when you have created a culture that has villainized health and fitness. And I don't even know if the left cares, like, at all. They villainized this. They've walked away from it. They have
Trump literally eats McDonald's because he thinks that regular restaurants are unhealthy and not standardized enough. He eats like entire sleeves of Oreos. He gets his steak done, well done. And he believes that when you're born, your heart only has so many beats in it. And if you exercise, it makes your heart rate go up, which like burns up your heart. And so you're going to die sooner.
Lost this. I don't think they care. However, Grand Canyon University does care about the culture that they cultivate on.
Oh, shut the fuck up. That's a crazy segue into an ad. Okay, so couple things here. Number one, the notion that like the liberals and the left have like vilified working out, idiotic, incredibly marginal, not a real thing at all. It's just also not a part of objective reality. Once again, okay, look at the average liberal living in a city and how much they work out, whether it's Pilates or yoga or whatever they're doing, versus the average Republican in a place like Oklahoma, for example. Go to a Walmart. Okay, it's ridiculous. I said this even with the MAGA body that the New York Times did on my profile, right? That's already incredibly stupid. Okay, you can be jacked to the gills and be a liberal or a Republican. None of that matters. It's just marketing. These people are just like leaning into that to make it seem as though that is just the case when it just doesn't matter. It's not a part of reality at all. Secondly, and this is perhaps more important, Zohran Mamdani at the age of 33 is infinitely healthier than the average politician, both by his age and also by what kind of work he does. He is incredibly physically fit. He's just not physically fit in the lifting side of things. That's it. What's really frustrating about this process is that Zohran Mamdani walks, 20,000 steps a day. What are we talking about? Get any right-wing Republican or even someone like myself. I work out all the goddamn time. I wouldn't be able to keep up with him. I wouldn't be able to walk the entire island of Manhattan. It's just a different kind of fit. You're comparing cardiovascular capabilities to strength, pure strength. That's all this is. And cardio is incredibly important. Zohran is a cardio guy, clearly, okay? That's it. The notion that like right-wingers work out more than leftists do or liberals do, all this stuff is bull. It's ridiculous. It's so dumb. But no one, and I mean no one, is dumber than Ben Shapiro talking about this. Because like Brett Cooper gets into it and she's doing all the back and forth. She's yapping.
Recalibrate and hit the gym.
But we got to talk about Ben Shabibo coming out and also swinging as Zohran Mamdani.
So that you can bench more than 135 and be stronger than Mamdani, including myself. Anyway, moving on back to the left and them caring about their culture. The funny thing is, even though the left was, putting out these articles and these opinion pieces just 3 months ago, now randomly, they do care about fitness. They do care about hitting the gym. And that's because they've realized that it's losing them votes. Because remember, a few months ago...
Dude, no, this is not real. No one cares. Are you kidding me? No one is like, oh, I'm not going to vote for the Democrats because they don't lift weights. Donald Trump is the president, okay?
Donald Trump is a fat, obese sack of shit who's anti-exercise.
Can't even walk up a flight of stairs. Joe Biden, at the age of 854, was more physically fit than Joe Biden. And his brain, Joe Biden was more physically fit at the age of 900 than Donald Trump. And his brain was leaking out of his ear, okay? Shut up. This is so dumb. Nobody gives a about how much you can lift, how much you can bench. When it comes to politics, put the policies in the bag. That's it. What is happening? Why does everybody entertain these idiotic arguments? I can't stand this dude. Oh, this person can bench press this much. This person can bench press that much. It's like, who cares? Leftists are mad at you. Lol, what is this? Isn't Hassan the guy who coined blue anon for vote blue no matter who people? Yeah, that's so funny. This is using my terminology against me to claim that I'm like racial mad owl. Ben said he puts up 200 dog. It took me a year lifting it 6 days a week to reach those numbers. Yeah, I don't think it's correct. I think Ben is lying, but we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to the Ben Shapiro clip in a second. We're doing more Ben Shapiro than ever on this broadcast this past week. It is like it's 2020 all over again. Okay.
Right around the time that all those articles were coming out, that hit piece about me came out, the Democrats announced that they were going to be investing $20 million in order to figure out how to win back young men. Now, one of the things that they discovered after this incredible research into the syntax and the interest of young American men is that men are going to the gym. So Democrats should be as well. One MSNBC opinion piece talked about this, and in this
article... Do you even vote, bro? Democrats should look at new voters at the gym. Oh, God. Oh. Okay. How is Zohran Mamdani so much better at captivating the attention of young voters, young men especially, white men too, than anybody else that's running for the same office, and he can't outlift Andrew Cuomo, Curtis Sliwa, or Eric Adams? How is that possible then? Turns out it has nothing to do with what your bench press is, bro. These people are so dumb. What are we doing? What is this conversation? American politics has to be about everything but politics, okay? Politics, simply put, is about distribution of...
That's the exact point, Hassan, because the moment we start talking about politics in the exact same way that it actually affects people, like budgets and policies and foreign policy and public transit and healthcare and education and the environment, well, of course people agree with the left, so we have to make it about everything but that.
Resources, power, and the continuation of said distribution with violence. Who gets to do violence? Who are the victims of said violence? That's what politics is. In America, on the other hand, politics is anything but what politics actually is, okay? It's about how much you can bench press. It's about whether you put Dijon mustard. It's about whether you wear, like, whatever you're wearing. It's
brown
all about
suit.
whatever commodities you're consuming. Are you a Labubu consumer? Are you a Labubu matcha enjoyer? Do you drink raw milk? None of this is about politics, man. When we're talking about actual politicians, what matters is their policies. What the
Local news just announced that shooter changed their name from Robert to Robin as a minor. I've been looking at some of the shooter information, and it definitely seems like there may be some sort of like I don't know if they're a conservative or a lib or whatever the fuck, but it definitely seems like it could be some sort of like Reddit atheist style attack.
And Democrats entertain this idiotic notion as well. Cracker Barrel logos. Are they woke? Are they unwoke? What's going on there? It's so stupid. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. And that is by design, by the way. The reason why American politics is about anything but actual policy and actual politics, how we distribute the finite resources that we have, is by design, because both parties in the duopoly do not stand for the working class. So no one is actually out there invested in truly trying to reverse the trajectory that we're heading in the direction of. That's the reason why everybody plays their own version of the same damn equation, where they have to just be like, oh yeah, I'm a leftist because I work out, or this person is right wing because they drink raw milk and eat 12 eggs a day. Shut up. What are we doing? What are we doing? God damn, dude. The reason why Zohran was able to cut away from that noise is because he was issue focused. That's it. That's it. That's it. We are issue focused. But the problem is Democrats do this shit too. Gavin Newsom is a great example of this. He has been really popping off, making big waves in the Democratic side, where, you know, they keep polling people 3 years out from the actual election to turn around and be like, oh, he's going to be the runner-up. He's going to be the runner-up. Why is he the runner-up? Because he's memeing. He's
I know it's not that deep and it's just surface level jokes. That's why I say I wish I'd never see your face in treatments. It always does it with some sort of inappropriate comment. We declare it to be fine because it is light and she's a terrible person. Time to check the humor levers when the joke is about someone's looks. Here's the thing. The reality is that people are a little bit mean. And the fact that Brett Cooper looks like Ben Shapiro is funny. It's funny. No one's even calling her ugly. I don't think she's ugly. But it is funny that they found basically like the Daily Wire scoured the country to find someone who looks like Fem Shapiro. That's funny. I'm sorry. It is. That's not really making fun of her looks. It's more like comparing her to him. I don't think anybody has said anything that comes anywhere close to a line.
Memeing hard. He's memeing super hard. All of this is utterly irrelevant. Gavin Newsom has major issues. I live in his state. Okay. I live under the gruesome rule of gruesome Governor Gavin Newsom in California Oblast. And let me tell you, the housing market is here, okay? Fix it. Meanwhile, what his goals are...
Well, they can't fix it because his top donors are literally developers and fucking landlords. It's working great. You could have some piece of shit, dilapidated property that was built in 1965 and has never been updated, sell for $900,000. They love that shit.
Is to not fix it. He is Mr. Veto, okay? Every goddamn election cycle, there's another ballot measure that's like, let's implement communism in California for all people living on California soil. And then those ballot measures will get passed by like 80% margins. And then gruesome Governor Gavin Newsom will turn around and veto it. He'll be like, nah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say homeless people? That's what I'm going to do. It's so stupid. I'm glad that people are fighting back. Okay, that's fine. That's great. It can't just remain on the trolling side. Okay, it just can't. It can't just be like Newsom was right about everything mugs or Trump is not hot tank tops. Like, what the are we doing? Nathan J. Robinson, the GOAT, says, when Gavin Newsom loses in 2028, will Democrats learn their lesson and stop running soulless centrists?
Why the fuck are you posting this? Fuck this post. Fuck this post. Gavin Newsom is not going to be the fucking nominee. Gavin Newsom is not going to run shit. Shut the fuck up. Fuck this post. Fuck this cowardly ass post. Fuck this like bitch made post. He ain't going to win shit. Stop this shit. Fuck off.
Where they just try to keep doing this over and over until the party has 2% support and we finally reach full-blown fascist state. The second thing is what's going to inevitably happen.
Who do I think will be the nominee then? It is 2025. We are over a year till the midterms. It is 2025. It's who fucking knows? Gavin Newsom is a fucking dud. Shut the fuck up about picking your nominee. It's not going to happen. We have a whole primary cycle. There's a whole bunch of people that are going to run. Shut the fuck up about Gavin Newsom running for president. Who gives a shit?
Okay. They're just actively looking for one guy who can cut away from the noise and not rock the boat. Policy wise, okay? It is crazy how many people are desperately clinging on to the notion that, like, well, Democrats are better than Republicans. It's like, yes, that's true. You can't actually win a election by being marginally better with the expectation that, like, Republicans are just going to fumble the bag eventually and you'll eke out like a marginal victory over them. We want pure domination. We want actual change. Many people do.
All right, chat. Taylor Lorenz has published a fucking expose. And this makes so much fucking sense. I was talking about how TikTok, the conversation on TikTok was so fucking stupid and dog shit that I didn't understand why anybody would watch it. And now it all makes sense. A dark money group is secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers. An initiative aimed at boosting Democrats online offers influencers $8,000 a month to push the party line. This is illegal. This should be illegal. All they have to do is keep it secret and agree to restrictions on their content. Come the fuck on. In a private group chat in June, dozens of Democratic political influencers discussed whether to take advantage of an enticing opportunity. They were offered... chat, I want you to know, I was not offered this money. I was not offered any money. The Democratic Party doesn't seem to think that I'm a good bet. I wonder why. But the contract sent to them from Torres, the nonprofit arm of a liberal influence marketing platform, came with some strings. It mandated extensive secrecy about disclosing their payments and had restrictions on what sort of political content the creators could produce. In their group chat, influencers debated the denils. Should we send a joint email with all our email addresses, or are we just going to send things separately and hope they change everything for everyone? Lauren Enzo, a non-binary creator in Columbus. Oh, I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see this person.
My child said they weren't fed lunch today. We're working on a solution. What happened? I don't want my child going hungry. Our principal, Mr. Trumpet, cut 18 million school lunches for kids. The principal cut the school lunch program? What kind of principal does that? You know his big, beautiful bill? I've heard of it. It cuts 18 million school meals. It's a lot of programs that people depend on. Well, Principal Trumpet said he...
This is like they were trying to farm clips for libs of TikTok. It's like they're subsidizing libs of TikTok with more content to make fun of. The sauce is negative sauce.
He was going to lower the school's debt. Actually, his big, beautiful bill put us into more debt. $4 trillion. So
is there no lenses in the glass? These glasses have no lenses. Okay, it's a character. It's a character. It's a character.
Yeah, he took your kid's lunch money and gave it to his billionaire friends. So he ate and left no crumbs for literally anyone else? What a selfish son of a... My child said they weren't fed lunch today. We're working on a solution.
$8,000 a month. Some joked about collective bargaining. Any Newsies fans here? Eliza Orleans, a public defender and reality TV star known for appearances on Survivor, posted in the group. We're a union just by saying so. I guess she's like an Instagram person.
The FBI just got a co-deputy director who threatened Target for selling rainbow onesies and kept an innocent woman locked up for 43 years against a court order. I'm Eliza Orleans, career public defender for 15 years in Manhattan, and I need to tell you about what just happened at the FBI. The Trump administration just announced that Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey will be appointed co-deputy director of the FBI. Yes, you heard that right, co-deputy director. This appears to be the first time in FBI history that they've split this role. Normally, the FBI deputy director is a seasoned federal prosecutor or investigator. Bailey, he has zero federal experience. What he does have is a track record of headline-chasing stunts and using government power to push culture war politics. This is the guy who threatened...
Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. That's the message. We're going to pay people to make Trump bad content that they were already making. The influencers in the chat collectively had 13 million followers across social platforms. What we need right now, and this is why we're in trouble. What we need right now is a movement for something. We need a movement that's trying to achieve change. It's never gonna, this kind of shit. They've been doing it for 12 years. How many more years of Trump bad do you think you're gonna be able to do? They represented some of the most well-known voices online posting in support of Democrats, and they're key to whatever the party moves next. But ultimately, the group didn't make much progress. Reading through the revised Coors contract lists, you win some, you lose some. A reproductive justice influencer named Pari, who posts on their hand are women in America. I also think there's at least 4 other things that should change, but the vibe I got from their email would there be minimal, if any, changes. I don't feel strongly about pushing, to be honest. Aaron Parnas! Oh my God! This evil sack of shit! This guy may be the worst internet poster I've seen. He's fucking trash. He's like MSNBC if you hate like quality or intellect. If you think that MSNBC is too smart for you, you watch Aaron Parnas. I believe we are in stage 5 acceptance, Pari responded. Creators began signing on to the deal. For years, Democrats have struggled to work with influencers. In 2024, President Joe Biden's white... So, in other words, these are all the people that don't say anything about Gaza. Is that right? These are all the people who don't say anything about Gaza, right? These are all the cowardly fucking rats who don't stand up against an actual active genocide that's happening. Disgusting. In 2024, President Joe Biden's White House snubbed several prominent content creators after they lightly criticized the administration over its policies on climate change, COVID, Gaza, and the TikTok ban. Content creators who challenged Kamala Harris were similarly unwelcome at campaign events. After the Democrats lost in November, they faced a reckoning. It was clear that the party failed to successfully navigate the new media landscape. Okay, the difference between the right and the left is the right wing, they chase wherever their base is. And they let people organically pop up. And then they support those people, right? On the right, on the left, the Democrats try to pick the most sycophantic, corrupt, evil pieces of shit who don't care about anything but themselves and their own careers. And they prop those people up. The Democrats hate their base. The Republicans fear their base. And this is the perfect example of this. They fucking hate you. They fucking hate you. They've got to find the most corrupt little rats to prop up. New Democrats hope that the secretive Chorus Creator Incubator Program, funded by a powerful liberal dark money group called the 1630 Fund, might tip the scales. Yeah, this is not sus. This should be criminal. Honestly, I think these people should be arrested for campaign finance violations. The program kicked off last month. The creators involved were told by Chorus that 90 influencers were set to take part. Creators told Wired that the contract stipulated they'd be kicked out and cut off financially if they so much as acknowledged they were part of the program. Influencers included in communication about the program and an onboarding session from those receiving payments include Olivia Juliana. Of course! Olivia Juliana and David Pacman. So basically, it's all the people who are genocidal fucking maniacs, cowards, and pieces of shit. Jesus fucking Christ. But following the initial outreach, many creators expressed concerns about some stipulations. According to copies of the contract viewed by Wired, creators of the program must funnel all bookings with lawmakers and political leaders through Chorus. Creators also have to loop Chorus in on any independently organized engagements with government officials or political leaders. If I want to work with another politician, I have to fully collaborate with them. If I get Zoran and he wants to do an interview with me, I don't want to give that to them. Creators of the program are not allowed to use any funds or resources they receive as part of the program to make content that supports or opposes any political candidate or campaign without express authorization from Chorus in advance and in writing. The contracts prohibit standard partnership disclosures, declaring that creators will not publicize their relationship with Chorus. Where is the Justice Department? Like, where the fuck is the Justice Department? These people should be indicted. Like, legitimately, they should be indicted. Or tell others they're members of the program without Chorus's prior express consent. They also forbid creators from disclosing the identity of any funder and give Chorus the ability to force creators to remove or correct content based solely on the organization's discretion if that content was made at a Chorus organized event. So in other words, you're giving up editorial independence, you're pushing propaganda, and you're keeping it secret that you're doing so. There are some great advantages to housing this program as a nonprofit, Graham Wilson, a lawyer working with Chorus, said to creators on a Zoom call. It gives us the ability to raise money from donors. It also, with this structure, it avoids a lot of public disclosure or public disclaimers, you know, paid for by blah, blah, blah that you see in political ads. We don't need to deal with any of that. Your names aren't showing up on reports filed with the FEC. The goal of Chorus, according to a fundraising deck obtained by Wired, is to build new infrastructure to fully fund independent, progressive voices online at scale. Full lie. These people are not progressive. They're fucking shills. The creators who join the incubator are expected to attend regular advocacy trainings and daily messaging check-ins. The creators have to attend 2 Chorus newsroom events per month, which are events Chorus plans, often with lawmakers. This is this is clearly illegal. This is clearly illegal. Elizabeth Dubois, an assistant professor at a university research chair of politics, communication, and technology at the University of Ottawa, who has researched the ways influencers are shaping the U.S. political system, says that we are seeing influencers being pulled into these dark campaigns or shadow campaigns where the legal aspect is murky at best. I would support a federal task force to indict everyone who participated. I'm not kidding. Like, I think anybody who did this shit should be in prison. You violated campaign finance law. You're being bribed. It'd be one thing if they disclosed it, like, hey, I'm being paid by the DNC. That's fine. If you're getting paid by the DNC and you disclose it and it's reported, that's fine. But having secret groups that are bribing people and controlling their messaging secretly, that shit should not be legal. Sometimes it's clear that influencers are being used to, for example, evade spending limits. I think that we need to remember that for a democracy to thrive, we need transparency around who is paying for political messages. Exactly. This is fucking criminal. Olivia, you should be in prison. Don Hyder, the chief executive of the Markula Center for Applied Ethics at Santa Clara University, said the outline of restrictions violate ethical norms. Oh, Olivia Juliana is not ethical? Who could have known David Pacman wasn't ethical? If the contract for getting money from an interest group says you can't disclose it, then it's pretty simple. You can't take the money. We're living in an era where a lot of powerful people have basically taken the rule book and thrown it out the window. Keith Edwards, a Democratic content creator who has skyrocketed to fame on YouTube since starting his channel last year, was not invited to be part of the program, but believes that the way it was structured seemed predatory. He says that he would never agree to take part in a program that was run in secret or wouldn't allow him to disclose funding. What I don't understand is why don't you just donate to creators directly who've already built something and just need to put gasoline on the fire? Democrats at least understood that the internet exists now, so that's good. But they still think influencers are just there to do terrible direct-to-camera interview that no one watches rather than treating us like another form of media. The influencers were offered the funding were given just days to sign the contract, which was essentially presented on a take-it-or-leave-it basis. At least one cohort was specifically told they could not have their lawyers redline. In the group chat forum to discuss contract negotiations, some creators discussed a clause prohibiting the disparagement of other creators. Not being able to criticize anyone else affiliated with Chorus felt restrictive to some, according to text messages posted to the chat. Keith Edwards is a former Lincoln Project guy who's grifting as a Dem. Amazing. Eventually, the creators in the group chat agreed to drop the issues they had. I think Chorus out to screw us. Orleans, a creator, was offered $8,000 per month, said in the group chat. Some influencers for Chorus Creator Program were offered as little as $250 per month. Others were offered membership into the Amplifier cohort, which provides up to $8,000 per month. In 2018, the 1630 Fund provided $141 million to more than 100 left-leaning causes in order to bolster Democratic support during the midterms. The fund distributed more than $400 million in 2020 and was used in efforts to unseat then President Trump and Republicans. 2022, it spent $196 million backing state ballot measures on abortion rights. So this is oligarch shit. This is oligarch shit. Holy fucking hell, man. We need a new party. We need a new party, man. Like, Good Influence was founded in October 2020 by Stuart Perlmutter, the former communication director for Representative John Yarmouth of Kentucky. Perlmutter co-founded Chorus with Democratic influencer Brian Tyler Cohen. I fucking knew it! Destiny Orbiter! Brian Tyler Cohen! Oh my fucking God! Again, another guy who doesn't mention the genocide. Good news in politics, guys.
Good news from the week from me and a couple of friends.
Former North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper officially announced that he's running for Senate in 2026. This is a man who has never lost an election since he entered politics in 1986. Let's go.
United Health is facing criminal and civil investigations
we got a lifelong centrist moderate politician running for Senate who will vote down Medicare for all. Yay! Another lifelong politician.
Medicare billing practices.
Homicide rates are hitting record lows in major U.S. cities.
A man who admitted to being a fascist during a debate with Mehdi Hassan was fired from his job.
People in New York prisons will be able to use their tablets and facility phones without charge starting August 1st. This move by Governor Kathy Hochul's administration makes New York the first state to mandate free prison calls through executive action.
Despite the Trump administration shutting down the national LGBTQ extension for young people in crisis, the state of Illinois is keeping its dedicated 988 Lifeline up and running for LGBTQ plus youth.
An anonymous donor gave $52,500 to help clear Colorado's rape kit backlog.
Louisville Public Media announced that they obliterated all their previous fundraising records after the Trump administration and Republicans in Congress took away millions of dollars in annual funding. They raised over 500.
Yeah, we're cooked. We're fucking cooked. We're fucking cooked. So many people are so easily bribed and they produce just absolutely nothing of value. We're so fucking cooked. Chat, this is a perfect time for me to shill because I am an independent media who is not being funded by the fucking DNC. If you enjoy this type of content, if you want an actually independent content creator to succeed, if you actually want to see the left continue to grow and thrive, please consider supporting the stream by subscribing at tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 sub. The single best way to support a stream is subscribing at the highest tier you can afford. And then once you do that, you can help support the stream by gifting subscriptions like Stiffo Magnifico. People are being paid thousands of dollars to make the most boring TikToks and Instagram posts you've ever seen in your entire life. And they're all genocide deniers. Has anybody in this program said anything about Gaza? Do you guys recognize any of these names? I'm just this fucking out of touch. Do any of these people say anything about the fucking, V-Spar, liberal content creator? This is just racial Mad Owl for Zoomers. Why do people like this shit? Somebody help me. Anyway, chat, look at that. We have a hype train. I've seen Aaron Parnas' name only because he works for Midas Touch. I've only seen him talk about it in the very vague breaking news kind of way, not in any meaningful way. Yeah, he's fucking trash. How is this like, it's fucking insane, man. These people are soulless freaks. Who likes this shit? Spihar and other content creators have accused Torres of attempting to establish themselves as gatekeeper to Democratic political leaders. What we need is for people to invest in independent media, and that doesn't necessarily mean investing in a consulting group that is going to become the middleman for independent media. This is totally right. Still, some creators heard about the 1630 fund and Torres funding initiative and applied to join. One creator named Chesko, who goes by the Speech Prof online, appealed to join the program because he viewed it as an opportunity to get access to people that have funding or backing and an actual research I could use, he says. These careerist scum are actually... Don't give me power, chat. Don't give me power. Do not give me power. Do not give me power. I would form a special task force to find everybody who applied to this shit. Unfortunately, he wasn't accepted and he was rejected. The structure of the program highlights the vast differences between how Democrats and Republicans attempt to amass online influence. Republicans have spent decades building up a powerful independent media ecosystem, though the far right-wing influencer world is far from transparent. Stephen Buckley, a digital media sociology at St. George's University of London, said that these sorts of programs have been happening in the right wing for ages. It is ethical to match the tactics of your opponents. Democrats miss the next generation of media. Historically, they own Hollywood, but this next generation of influence is digital, and they've miscalculated that. I don't think they feel comfortable in arenas where they lack control. Exactly, because they don't support what the base supports. They don't support what the base supports. They are anti the base. They hate their fucking base. They know what you're talking about, Gaza. So they only find the most sociopathic freaks who hate you. So if you enjoy this type of content, if you want to see somebody who is not a disgusting, fraudulent loser freak who takes bribes in order to shut their mouth about a genocide, then please consider supporting the Central Committee stream. Like, you have no idea how much I hate these people. And the other thing is, chat, they really hate me. These people really despise me. David Pakman, Brian Tyler Cohen, Olivia Juliana. They actually hate my guts because I'd be like, hey, have you considered not being a piece of garbage? Have you considered trying to, I don't know, speak out on an issue instead of just trailing the Democratic Party, you fucking sycophantic freak? They know who I am. They hate my guts. And so by supporting me, you give them a big middle finger. You can say, fuck you, you piece of shit, Olivia Juliana, you genocide denier. I'm so glad Kamala Harris lost. Can I just say that? Can I just say, thank God Kamala Harris is not president of the United States? Can you imagine how dire things would be? I think she might have like a 10% approval rating if she was president. Like honestly, she would be sending out the FBI to arrest me and Hassan. Like, honestly. Mike, have you considered that they sign non-disclosure clauses for $8,000 a month? Like, I want to show you guys some of their content. If you want to understand how little juice this actually has.
Donald Trump said over and over and over again on the campaign trail that they were going to conduct mass deportations. And now we have people who are fucking around and finding out in a very heartbreaking way. A woman who posted this video about her husband being deported with this caption, I wish that people didn't have to figure out and learn that Donald Trump was a liar by having their family tortured. I really wish that that wasn't the case. Donald Trump lied to you. And
this is just like, this is just bottom of the barrel grifter shit.
One of the first papers I wrote in college was how about the most American thing you could do was to burn the American flag because it was the ultimate sense of freedom. You have the freedom to denigrate your country.
1,000 likes.
Everyone always wants to talk about who the presidential nominee is going to be in 2028. And here's the thing. If it's a governor, then their running mate is probably going to be...
Wait, what's this? It's true. I am terrified to debate Destiny. My hands are trembling as I type this. Destiny. Oh, what the fuck is this? Destiny, if you're watching my latest video, doubling down on Destiny live on your stream, then you can come on my show. What the fuck? Why does Instagram suck? I explained everything I got wrong. This is the same stipulation I gave Hassan. Honestly, like I would cover the H3 drama more, but he's suing people that watch his shit. So why the fuck would I want to boost H3? Even though he's fighting Destiny, it's like I don't even want to boost it because he sues people for copyright infringement. So like, okay. I'm glad you guys are fighting, but no one wants to watch your shit. Why would Destiny watch it so you could sue him for copyright infringement? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It doesn't even make sense.
Let's call it what it is. Say this about Gavin Newsom. The brother looks,
Call it what it is. Say this about Gavin Newsom. The brother looks.
If you think Gavin Newsom looks presidential, I think you absolutely are one of the dumbest people I've ever seen. He looks like a used car salesman. He looks like one of his veneers are about to fall out if you hit a pothole in the, you know, fucking underpowered old Corvette he's trying to unload on you that has, whose the entire underbody is one chunk of rust. If you like Gavin Newsom, you are legitimately a stupid piece of shit.
Fire with fire. I'm going to punch these.
I live in Texas right now, and I am so.
So this is a chorus. This is a chorus event. This is a chorus event. So you can see that, like, I want you to understand something, chat, is that these organizations, this kind of social media effort is so astroturfed and so fucking doomed to fail that we are legitimately going to end up in fascism. If people settle for Olivia Juliana, we may not have another election. Nobody's getting off the couch for Gavin Newsom and Olivia Juliana. It's not happening. Mike, is Hassan using bots? He went from 40K to 20K. Did it XQC already show you this? Did it XQC already show you this? There was absolutely no difference. There's absolutely no difference in Hassan's numbers. There's just like absolutely no difference between Hassan's numbers and when the like you can see the day the bots were deleted, his viewership went up the next day. There was no change whatsoever. He's got the least botted account on the entire website. You know who has a lot of bots? Asmongold. Tectone. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. 53 subs. Hell yeah. I appreciate you guys. Holy fuck. I think Dan whitelisted the bots on his channel. Sir, you know you missed. You should go back and look at the beginning of my stream. We analyzed the bots. We analyzed here. I'll show you how to do it. You go to twitch.tv and then you go to central_committee. Where the fuck is the vids? So how can you see videos? It used to be at the top. Now it's at the bottom. Fuck. I honest to God don't even remember how you find VODs when a channel is live. Can you even do that anymore? How the fuck do you even do it anymore? Why is this website so fucking bad? Legitimately, this website is so dumb. I've been using it for 6 years and every time it gets worse. Like you can see it right here. Like I talked about it. Look at that. Look at this shit. Asmongold is not anywhere near the same size as Hassan. It's not even close. What Asmongold does do is bot. Now, I don't know if he's paying for his bot. I know Tectone is buying his own bots. I don't know if Asmongold is being botted. Look at the account. Elon Musk. The account creation dates for Zachrar. It's like, wow, I can't believe that 5,000 accounts all are created on the same day or the same week or, you know, Steve Bannon or whatever the fuck else. But these guys are like the absolute biggest bot. Anyway, you could go and check the VOD out. You can see all the evidence. They're extremely botted. And Tectone knows he's botted because he pays for his own bots. Using fake accounts to accuse others of using fake accounts. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Look at Asmongold, chat.
Oh my God. Can you believe that?
Like I said, that video had the guy arrested at 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, that was a year ago. Yep. And I think the mood of the country and, in fact, the mood of policing has changed since then. And the reason it's changed is because the English people started to stand up for themselves. They started to say, no more will we just be bullied and thrown around at will, okay? We're going to start fighting for...
I think that once these people get in control of the government, they need to put everybody that was okay with this in jail. That's what I would do. Is because these people have actively tried, they've effectively committed treason. They've sided with foreign powers, foreign interests, and...
By the way, notice how this fucking scumbag Zionist footstool cuck Asmongold is saying that people are siding with a foreign power when it's a occupied people that don't have their own country, been denied self-determination, been denied the right to return to their homes they were forced out of by the military of a foreign power that we pay for. We pay for the Israeli military, $350 billion. And he's pretending it's like Palestine is a foreign power. They're not even a recognized country. They don't have self-determination. They're occupied by Israel, you fucking scum.
Foreign countries over their own. And I would put all of them in jail. It has been an ongoing insurrection for seemingly 20 years. That's the definition of an invasion force. Yeah, of course. This is literally CCP Act, arrest anyone who's different. You're not going to try to, like, I mean, I understand, like, you're going to try to, like, oh, but, like, what about this other thing? That doesn't work on me.
What about logic? What about evidence? What about consistency? What about the right to speak your mind?
Hilarious how Asmongold is this guy who lives in filth. Cockroaches crawl on him routinely in the middle of his streams. He's impossibly stupid, knows nothing about anything, except he can perfectly recite every single neo-Nazi dog whistle to you verbatim. I find that incredible. While, by the way, he is presently also like crusading against anti-Semitism alongside Ethan Klein and Dan Saltman and stuff. It's amazing. The only thing that Asmongold knows is every single obscure white nationalist dog whistle. He used to have a character in World of Warcraft named after like Anders Breivik, like the white nationalist mass shooter from Norway. He had a WoW character named Anders Nordic, the name of Anders Breivik's WoW character. So Asmongold is a long-time white nationalist. The only thing that he has ever bothered to learn about is like white nationalism and neo-Nazism. He hasn't learned like how to keep his house cockroach free. What he has learned about is every single obscure like fucking David Duke dog whistle used against Jews or blacks or anyone else. There was a great clip of him talking on his stream recently that really made this clear. So let's watch that right now. Keep in mind, this is someone who is presently like crusading against anti-Semitism on Twitch. Remember that. Remember as you watch this, what this supposed anti-Semitism crisis actually is and what it's actually about. Because it's certainly not about actual anti-Semitism. It's about like attacking pro-Palestine, anti-US imperialism people.
And Jews and blacks did it? It's all Jews and blacks. Yeah.
Just listen to the way he fucking talks. It's Jews and blacks. Jews and blacks.
Jesus Christ,
Holy
man.
fuck. This guy talks like a Nazi.
This guy whined because I misspoke 11 months ago and I got a week ban. And he says Jews and blacks with stank on it. And nothing happens to him. And he's botting the platform. This is the thing that's insane. This guy's got 15,000 bots or more in his stream. He breaks every rule. He's disgusting. He doesn't even run ads. He has barely no subscribers because no one watches his fucking shit.
Like the Nazism emanates from his stinky visage.
And by the way, on Twitter, you would have a lot of people that agree with you. No, there's been a lot of people that have been feeling that way. It's been massive. It's been crazy. Like,
I'm feeling what way?
I've been seeing like the amount of people who are like hyper focused on like, especially Jews. People really don't like Jews anymore.
Like his fucking strategy of just being like, he'll say the Nazi shit, but he'll say other people are saying Nazi shit. And he normalizes it because he's too cowardly to say the shit himself.
He's not saying this to denounce it, by the way. If anything, he's agreeing with it.
They really, really don't. Like I've been seeing like, and I feel like every time that I feel like it's peaked, it goes again. It gets even more extreme. People go even harder with it. They never have, bro. I mean, there's 109 examples of that. You're right.
So the 109 examples thing comes from like this white nationalist dog whistle saying that Jews have been expelled from 109 countries. Ergo, that they must have some reason to have done that to them. How can 109 countries be wrong? So Asmongold knows how to throw out that neo-Nazi dog whistle. He has it ready. He has it like in the back of his mind. He doesn't have like how to brush his teeth in the back of his mind. He doesn't have like how to clean his toilet in the back of his mind. He doesn't have like how to properly dispose of trash in the back of his mind. What he does have is dog whistles from like the Turner Diaries. That's what he has. This is Ethan Klein's ally. This is the crusader against online anti-Semitism. This is like the biggest political Twitch streamer. And he is just screeching 109 countries and talking about how people don't like the Jews and the blacks anymore. That's what he's using his Twitch platform for. It was never about anti-Semitism. It never is about anti-Semitism. It's about solidifying the genocide of the Palestinian people. That's what it's always been about.
Ugh. What a fucking disgusting rat. Operation Raise the Colors. You're not British, bitch!
You have a fascist in the White House, and that requires us. We cannot be the only one playing by the rules with the hand tied behind our backs. That old playbook, the norms that, used to have guardrails on our democracy and protect all of us in this country, that doesn't exist anymore. We've got to throw that playbook out the window because the Republicans have. We cannot be the only party that's playing by the rules anymore.
That was DNC Chair Ken Martin giving an impassioned call for Democrats to fight fire with fire against Trump and the GOP's attacks on our democracy. Members of the DNC are set to convene in Minneapolis tomorrow, and it comes at a time when the party is in dire straits, both in approval ratings and in losing ground with voters to Republicans. So, is there a way for them to change course ahead of next year's midterms? Let's ask our next guest, David Hogg, President for Leaders We Deserve and former Vice Chair of the DNC. David, it's great to have you back on the show. Actually, let's just go back a few minutes ago. We had Michael Cohen, maybe you saw this, he was just on the set with us here, taking Ken Martin to task. Here's what he said. Take a listen.
Here's what we're trying to tell you. Tariffs or taxes. Where's Ken Martin and messaging other than sending you a text every day asking for money? That's not going to work anymore. You're not going to win 2020.
Well, the DNC, they don't care about winning. They care about making money. They're all campaign consultants who charge massive fees on buying TV ads. That's all they want to do is buy another yacht that they don't even take out of dry dock. It just sits there at dry dock at the Chesapeake because they're too fucking lame to actually learn how to drive a boat. So they buy it, they go on it once, and it rots at dry dock.
6 on the notion that Donald Trump bad, we should win. It doesn't work that way.
Is he right on Ken Martin? What's your assessment of that comment?
Look, I think the sentiment behind what Ken was getting at, which is what I believe as well, which is that we need a party of fighters and not folders, and to be a real opposition party is true. And ultimately, we need to be a party with actual substance to provide voters, and not just semantics, not just words, not just strongly worded letters. And what we're seeing across the country right now, whether it's Texas Democrats, they were not just sitting on their hands saying, well, we're in the minority, we can't do anything. They literally left the state in order to delay the passage of those maps. And we're seeing people like Gavin Newsom speaking out as well. And that's part of the reason why the work that I do at Leaders We Deserve is so important, because we're trying to build a party of fighters and not folders and bring in a new generation and send a clear message of how the party is dramatically changing, trying to win back the American people by providing a vision that is not about what we are not, but is about who we are and the type of country that we are actually trying to build, and getting voters to vote for us, not based off of how bad we aren't, but instead of how good we are at governing.
We've learned in recent days that across a number of states, Democrats are hemorrhaging voters, not adding the new voters that they should be, really losing to Republicans on that front. We also have learned from the center-left think tank Third Way, they have this list of words they want the party to stop using, like triggering, food insecurity, unhoused, LGBTQIA. I'm curious what you make of these sort of movements and revelations of the last several days, and whether you think this is the right way for the Democratic Party to kind of refocus itself. Should they be focused on language and the words that they use and their messaging right now, or is there something else that will kind of get them back into communities and sort of seen as legitimate to the voters who they haven't served?
Look, focusing just simply on our words and our semantics is something that helps to distract. It helps Donald Trump because it distracts from the fact that he ran on two things. He ran on the fact that he was going to release the Epstein list, which he has not done, in all likelihood because he's on it. And he ran on the idea that he was going to lower prices, which he has not done. And he has done thing after thing after thing to create distraction after distraction after distraction. There's a reason why there's so many National Guard in Washington, D.C. right now and more cities around the country. It's not to fight crime. It is in order to create a distraction from our criminal of a president. And then the other thing is, for groups like Third Way, of course they want us focused on words. They want us to continue the messaging debate that has been going on for longer than I have been alive in this party, because they know that we can change our messaging, because that doesn't actually change the system. And what we need to provide voters to win them back is an actual vision of what is the Democratic Party doing to fight for you and fight against the special interests, and using the government to fight against those special interests that have ruined so many of their lives and made it so hard for them to achieve just a small part of the American dream in the first place. We need substance and not just debates over our semantics over and over again.
The thing is, the problem that I have with David Hogg is he's smart enough to understand we need to have substance, but he's too cowardly to actually call out the causes of the problems, right? Like, he wants to have it both ways. He wants to be able to feed at the trough of the disgusting, corrupt Democratic Party, while at the same time is going, why aren't we talking about substance? And it's like, well, because everybody at the DNC is doing the same thing you're doing. taking money from donors. And so the people that piss off the donors by talking about substance are the ones who don't bring, so they withhold their money. It's not a hypothetical. We talked about it the other day with the DLP endorsement in Minneapolis. They withdrew the state party in Minnesota withdrew an endorsement for mayor because donors said they were going to withhold checks unless they did, and they fucking did. So if you want the Democratic Party to actually be democratic, then you need to get rid of the donor class feeling like they can leverage their position to enact political changes.
David, I always say whenever it's called a comms problem, it's always a policy problem at the end of the day. And so let's listen to Representative Hakeem Jeffries this morning and how tongue-twisted he is when it's talking about NYC mayoral candidates.
Here's a real candidate. Graham Plattner for Senate. In the richest country on earth, hospitals are closing en masse. In rural Maine, you're driving an hour to the nearest birthing center. The hospital of Blue Hill, where I was born, is closed. It's a disaster brought on by decades of pure greed, and nothing short of Medicare for all can turn the tide. Nothing short of Medicare for all can turn the tide.
Zoran Mandami.
I don't think we've withheld an endorsement. We are engaging in a conversation about the future of New York City, about the issues that need to be addressed, particularly the housing crisis. These are all issues to be worked through, and we'll continue to work through them. As I mentioned, we're sitting down next week.
So, David, that actually might be a comms problem because Jeffries just can't seem to give an answer.
Yeah, it is not a complicated question. Are you going to endorse the Democratic nominee for the city that you represent part of, or are you not? It is not rocket science. Are you going to endorse him or are you not? Are you going to say that we're going to be a big tent in this party? Because guess what? A big tent has a left side and a right side. And you can't just support one side when it's convenient and not the other, because that is how a tent collapses at the end of the day. And I think it is a much simpler question. And at the end of the day, it's one that he needs to answer. The American people are craving, and Democrats too, are craving clear answers from their politicians, not essays of, there's all this parliament. Just give us a damn answer. It's not complicated.
Why is he not answering it? Why do you think he doesn't answer that question, David? Give it to us straight. Like, why does he not answer that question? It's not because of apartments and socialism and that fear. Why does he not want to answer that question as simply as you just outlined?
Well, I think there's a room for a longer conversation about that. But ultimately, I think a major part of it has to do with serious disagreements that he has with him over Israel-Palestine at the end of the day. I think that is probably the biggest part of it, if I had to make a guess, because groups in this town, I'll tell you right now, what a lot of people will not tell viewers on this channel that I'm not afraid to say is in conversations about congressional races, you know what the three most common questions that I hear are when people talk about who to support in a race? It is, what is AIPAC doing? What is crypto doing? And what was their last quarter's fundraising? That is 90% of the conversations that are happening in this town. And people like Hakeem Jeffries are terrified to talk about that because they are afraid of a lot of those groups because they have tons of money. But the answer is, if everybody behaves that way, we're never actually going to rebuild a better government that stands up to special interests and stands up for the American people.
David, thank you.
By the way, David being incredibly honest. Holy shit. Oh my God, dude.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Not being part of it.
Oh boy. Okay, well, we're learning. Hopefully we're learning more about how are the markets doing today. Have the Nvidia or Nvidia earnings are probably after the markets close today, right, chat?
Having the speaker, minority speaker, Hakeem Jeffries.
He's not speaker. He's minority leader. Speaker is an elected position by the House members. He's not speaker. He's minority leader.
Because, you know, I'm a political nerd. Like, I love talking
Charlemagne
politics.
hates him.
You do?
I don't hate him. I just don't think he stands for anything.
Well,
I think that I call him AIPAC Shakur. Like,
well, definitely, we did talk about messaging, and I actually went to the Capitol and had a meeting with him. And we talked about messaging and how I was like, the frustration with the party is y'all have to get more gangster. Like, stop going by the politics of the late 2000s, you know, in 2010. And you have to, like, rise to the occasion in the messaging. And he did. I saw him do more afterwards.
Hakeem is a puppet. Hakeem's not doing anything if Chuck Schumer don't tell him to do it. And it's simple as that.
I love having the speaker.
God damn, that's based. That was positively Mike-like. That was positively... That's like me. He stepped right on her flow. He like took the vibes and shit all over them. He's like, the guy fucking sucks. Bro, that's like watching myself up there talking to people about politics. If I'm like unleashed, no vibes will survive. I will crush them just like that. That was amazing. We love it. Okay, chat. There is a really, really good video by Lindsay Ellis on Miss Rachel. It's 2 hours and 22 minutes long. I watched it last night and I just wanted to promote it. I don't think we're going to watch it on stream because it's so fucking long, but it was really, really, really intelligent. It was really well put and covered a lot of ground. I really, really like this video. I really like this video. This is what BreadTube was supposed to be. I didn't feel like I learned anything myself. Actually, that's not true. Conversation she had about Sesame Street and early childhood education and the research that's done by PBS on stuff like emotional learning, stuff that I wish I had gotten growing up, was really cool. So this is a really good video. I feel like I actually learned quite a bit now that I think about it. It's a really good video. Like, so definitely check that out. Maybe we could watch like a section of it. Why don't we watch a section of it? I think that there were so many good points. I think this was a really good section.
Okay, so now we're all relaxed, got our heat treatment, got our pores opened, and we'll try to make this whole history portion short and sweet. Here we go. So King Solomon the Wise. Don't look at me like that. I could have started way earlier. I could have started with Moses. We could have started with the fall of man. King Solomon the Wise is said to have constructed the first temple in Jerusalem. This is likely legendary rather than historical, but that puts its construction around here-ish. Judaism was originally a temple-based religion. I mean, it still is, but now it's more about like study than doing rituals at a physical place. Back in the day, the temple was a much bigger deal. It was the center of worship, it was where they housed the Ark of the Covenant, those plates with the 15,
These 15! 10 commandments!
It's where they sacrificed the lambs. It was a big deal. And then, oh no, it's Babylon. They invade Judea, destroy the first temple, and this leads the political and religious leaders to either being dispersed, killed, or enslaved. And this is called the Babylonian exile, and it lasts a few decades. But then, here comes the Achaemenid Persian Empire, founded by King Cyrus the Great. Oh boy, they defeat the Babylonians and let the Judean ruling class go home. Hooray! Around this time is when the people of the region start calling themselves Jews. So the Achaemenid Empire allows the Jewish higher-ups to rebuild Judea, and they get to rebuild the temple. A new temple, a better temple, a new and sexy better temple. Foreshadowing is alliterated after Alexander the Great comes in and conquers the Achaemenids with like 50 guys.
You conquered the Achaemenids.
What, like it's hard? The Greeks rule for a couple hundred years, there were a few regime changes, they even had like 30 years of Jewish control, and then the Romans take over. And that's not great. And around this time is when that Jesus boy showed up.
I want to party with you, Jesus. Rock me, sexy Jesus, he died for our sins.
Anyway, Jesus does his ministry for a little while, gathers a following, does a little temple sermon, and he gets crucified. And this is believed to have happened around the year 30 CE. So things were already pretty tense between the Jews and their evil Roman conquerors, and everything came to a head in 70 CE with the Roman-Jewish War and the sacking of Jerusalem. The Romans besieged the city for months. According to Jewish historian Josephus in his work The Jewish War, written around 75 CE, the Romans, finding the resistance over, spared no one. They were enraged by the rebellion and slaughtered all they met. The streets ran with blood and the whole city was covered with bodies. The number of those who perished during the whole siege was over 1 million, the majority of them Jewish by birth. Modern historians think that Josephus was overstating it, a bit. Deaths were more in the neighborhood of like 20 to 30,000. But the most crucial outcome here is the destruction of that temple and the beginning of the Jewish diaspora.
So I will say this about this particular part of the video and the history of the diaspora. I feel like this is kind of like retroactively created history, and the reality is that most of the Jewish population remained in the area, and most of the Jewish diaspora are actually converts. This is kind of like, this is the popular history that is taught to Jewish people in America. But if you actually study the current state of the history of the Jewish diaspora, it's not really well supported.
There was another revolt between 132 and 135 CE, and this led to even harsher Roman crackdowns, and Jews are banned from Jerusalem. Of course, not every Jew left the region, but this is the start of the Jewish diaspora in earnest. So where do the Muslims
I think it was honestly already existed. Like, it already existed.
Into all this? Well, they start popping up about 500 years later, and I know I'm being super simplistic, again, trying to keep this short. Prophet Muhammad begins preaching Islam in Mecca around the year 610 CE. In 622, he and his followers go to Medina, where he becomes a political and military leader, as well as a religious one. And over the next decade or so, Muhammad unites the Arabian Peninsula through a combination of diplomacy, alliances, and shrewd military strategy. By the time of his death, around 632 CE, much of the Arabian Peninsula had accepted Islam and was united. Within 10 years, Muhammad's followers conquer Syria, Palestine, Iran, Iraq, and Egypt. They managed to do all of this in part because the Byzantine Empire and the Sassanid Persian Empire had just finished a big war between themselves, and they were tired and they just didn't have the energy, mood. Another thing that made the conquest go quickly was that many of the local populations discontent with Byzantine or Sassanid rule actually welcomed their new Muslim overlords, and many were happy to convert. Those that did not want to convert were usually allowed to maintain their religions. This strategy stands in contrast to conquering hordes like the Mongols, who were not able to keep hold of their conquests because they just ran slipshod through Asia and Europe, killing everybody. It's easy to maintain your conquests if you aren't having to deal with constant uprisings because your conquests despise you. Christians, Jews, and Zoroastrians are in the Quran considered people of the book. Basically, we might have some theological disagreements, but we're cousins. Any reference to Jewish people in the Quran outside of citing religious texts or figures like Abraham and Moses, who are considered prophets in Islam, is mostly about like this group or another doing a scripture wrong or breaking some covenant or something, but there is nothing that could be reasonably construed as condemnation. The Quran calls for dialogue with Jews and Christians, emphasizing shared belief in one God. Say, O people of the book, come to a common word between us and you, that we worship none but God. So it would be dishonest to imply that in 2,000 years of history, generations upon generations, that there were never periods of oppression when one group of people had dominance over another. It was not always puppies and bagels for the Jews under Muslim rule. In Muslim Spain, for example, although during the initial caliphates between the 8th and 11th century things were generally pretty chill, where the Jews even held high-ranking positions in government, in the Almoravid and Almohad caliphates of the 11th through 13th century, religious tolerance declined. But for the most part, there has been a steady Jewish population under Muslim rule in the Middle East and North Africa for the last 2,000 years. And while there have been periods of oppression, the levels of oppression experienced by these populations were quaint compared to the rest of Europe.
We have a mission to convert the Jews.
All of this is a very long-winded way of arriving at the point that there is no historic blood feud between Jews and Muslims. This idea that Jews and Muslims are intrinsically at odds with each other, and that's just the way things have always been.
It's false. It never happened. It's a fake. It's fiction. It's an urban legend that never happened. Pure fiction.
It's a very modern invention. It's not true.
We made it up.
Historically, it's been Christians beefing with Jews and or Muslims, not Jews and Muslims beefing with each other. So why, if the Muslims weren't so bad to the Jews, was there a Jewish diaspora in the first place? Well, because the diaspora had started nearly 600 years earlier. I feel like, to the Western mindset, everything between the death of Christ and the Norman invasion is just kind of this mush where progress stalled and, nothing much happened. But 600 years is a long time. 600 years ago from right now was before the non-Viking Europeans had even oopsed their way into the Americas. And again, not all Jews had left the Middle East. Some groups had been there the whole time, but by the time the Muslims came along, huge Jewish populations had already been scattered to the four winds. Ah yes, but there was one more sect of Judaism we almost forgot. One that, after the destruction of the Second Temple, looked at their fellow Jews very swiftly and said, I don't know her. So, When the fall of man happened, I changed my mind. We actually are going back to the fall of man. So fall of Adam, fall of man, and oh no, sin is in the world. We cannot be unsinned because, that is our nature now. But wait, God has a plan. He hatched a plan as Adam and Eve pieced out of the garden. Or it was predetermined depending on which denomination you're in. This idea of sacrifice was really big in the ancient world, usually animals, and in the case of Judea, usually lambs. Every day, the priests would sacrifice lambs at the temple. Even during the Roman siege of...
Oh, they would slaughter a lot of animals at the temple. It was a carnal house. They were killing fucking animals nonstop. It's actually something that in the scriptures, Jesus Christ didn't like. In the scriptures, Jesus Christ set animals free, and he also attacked the money changers.
70 AD, they did it. Every day until the temple fell. This idea of a sacrificial lamb is a whole thing, and it has many ritual functions, one of which is the atonement of sin. And God's like, okay, if sacrifices equals atonement, and we have a lot to atone for because, my God, myself. Well, all right, I already did that flood, and I promised I wouldn't do that again. So we need, the mother of all sacrifices. What if, get this, I get sacrificed? Now hear me out. I get born as a man, but I am also my son? I'm my own grandpa. And then I/he gets sacrificed. There's so much sin in the world that it would take that level of sacrifice to wipe away all this sin because y'all need Jesus. That is why the scene of the Pharisees trying to get Jesus killed is the way that it is. The people of Jerusalem turning on him after having just welcomed him into the city, Peter denying him 3 times, Judas betraying him, the crowd freeing the murderer instead of the savior when given the choice. Look at how terrible you people are. You do not deserve this sweet cinnamon roll of a man. And despite all that sin, I will be born as a human, do a little bit of ministry for a minute, and then I'll get sacrificed in the worst way possible. And it's gonna suck ass, and I'm gonna hate it. But in doing this, the ultimate sacrifice, I'm going to null and void all this sin we've got flying around. Voila, humanity is saved. That's what Christians mean when they say Jesus loves you, at least when they're not being super condescending about it. It's this idea that, these people were so horrible and so full of sin, but he loved them all so much that he went through this, the ultimate sacrifice, absolving them of the ultimate sin, killing him. So Jesus is the Lamb of God and the ultimate sacrifice, and that's what we mean when we say Jesus died for your sins. This is the foundation of Christian belief. All denominations have this in common. But that leaves a huge theological question. If the ultimate sacrifice means all sin is forgiven, does that mean everybody? Well, here we have one of the many theological splits. Universal salvation is the belief that Christ's sacrifice is a complete and total victory over evil. Everyone is saved, there is no hell. There are a ton of verses in the New Testament that support this interpretation. It is also the minority interpretation in the United States. Special salvation is the belief that only believers are saved. This is supported through John 3:16, a verse that is most famous for being repurposed by professional wrestlers.
Talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says I just whipped your ass.
For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. In this interpretation, the prerequisite for eternal life is belief. Although note that this verse, which is the best evidence for the interpretation of special salvation, doesn't say that only believers get eternal life, but that is beside the point. This interpretation of believers only is the most common in the United States today, which leads us to...
What you have done will be the saving of Israel. You'll be remembered forever for this.
90s kids will remember that alongside the rise of popularity of shows like Jerry Springer came the rise of an even more vacuous property, a series of novels starting...
Oh, God! Left Behind! Oh, no!
With 1995's Left Behind, written by Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins. The novel/film begins with a bunch of people suddenly disappearing around the world, leaving behind their clothes, wedding rings, and chaos. Rayford Steele, played by Nicolas Cage, loses his wife and son in the rapture, and he teams up with a journalist, a pastor, a college student, and a rabbi to form Tribulation Force. A small group that tries to resist the rise of the Antichrist, UN Secretary General or something, Nicolae Carpathia. As Tribulation Force fights to resist the one world government and religion, which is a bad thing, they also seek to spread the truth and survive during the 7-year tribulation. You know, say what you want about these clowns, Nicolae Carpathia is a great villain name, 10 out of 10. Good job, young Earth creationists.
I have big plans for you, Buck. That story you sent to GNN about Stone Cold Cross should be airing right at this very moment.
The Left Behind series sold over 80 million copies and helped popularize pre-tribulational dispensational premillennialism. It's actually not as complicated as it sounds. Now, dispensations are just a fancy word that describes biblical epochs in which God reveals himself in some different way. Dispensations were not really a big part of Christian theology until the late 1800s when they were—
Yes, I know. Most of what people think is Christianity is some shit Americans made up to justify owning slaves.
Popularized by a guy named John Nelson Darby. He influenced people like William Eugene Blackstone to adopt a uniquely American take on Christian Zionism and petition the United States to aid in the return of all Jewish people to the Holy Land. Blackstone believed that history was divided into these biblical time periods, or dispensations, and each dispensation is an era in which God defines himself in some new way, helpfully illustrated by this 1874 chart called Rightly Dividing the World of Truth.
Oh,
First
God.
dispensation is the Garden of Eden, second is, antediluvian, third is post-diluvian up to Abraham.
That refers to the flood of Noah. See that flood? So the antediluvian is like humans after the Garden of Eden, but before Noah. So post-diluvian is after the flood.
Fourth is the patriarchal, Abraham up to Moses. Fifth is basically everything after Exodus up to the coming of Jesus. And here we are now in the 6th dispensation, the post-Christ dispensation. And this is the final dispensation before Christianity was originally founded as an apocalyptic cult. The world is gonna end soon. Any minute now. Any minute now. It's coming. Okay, here it comes. It is coming. Okay, Rome has fallen. Okay, it's definitely coming now. All right, Crusades. It's coming. Okay, all right, plagues. All right, so it's definitely, okay, no. So Reformation. All right, okay, no. World War, no. Okay, yes, now. No. Well, don't you worry, guys. Apocalypse is coming. Any minute now. The world's gonna end. Literally every decade of every century has had its resident Christians insisting that the second coming is just around the corner, and according to the book of Revelation, when we get to the second coming, that's going—
What's your take on Jesus Christ Superstar? Sussy, but kind of a banger.
To lead us to 1,000 years of Jesus in charge, and that's gonna kick ass. This is where the millennial part comes in. So when we say premillennial, that means that they believe that the second coming will be before the 1,000 years of kick-ass awesomeness, and will be marked by the rapture, followed by the tribulation. This is the period before that millennium of, well, tribulation. All the good Christians get raptured, just gone, and everyone else gets—
By the way, this is not— The majority of Christians do not believe in the rapture. Only the freak weird ones that support Israel. Okay? The majority of people majority of Christians do not believe in this. This is just American shit. This is Southern Baptist shit. This is not Christianity. This is like an extreme fringe sect. It's very important to understand.
Left behind.
The 144,000 are a few select people chosen by God that will be spared from the end time events.
So to recap, premillennial, they just think that Jesus will return before the 1,000 years of glory. Pre-tribulational, but not before that 7-year-ish tribulation. Dispensationalism, they believe in biblical dispensations, aka time periods, and that we are in the last one. The support for all of this in the Bible is basically non-existent. Here are the main examples that are usually cited as evidence for the rapture, and as you can see, it's a bit of a stretch. The rapture appeals to American evangelicals because it taps into this, survivalist frontier spirit. It also tells them that they're special, that there will be a chosen few, and that they will be among them. Or, if for some reason they don't make the cut, like Nicolas Cage, they can be doomsday preppers. They only have to make it 7 years of tribulation, and then millennium. Fun! Natural disasters are blamed on prophecy, sin, or, of course, evidence that the world is about to end.
We're going to see a complete change in the earth, and that what we call the travail of creation or the travail of the earth will cease when the Messiah returns.
They also believe that the low Earth atmosphere is the abode of Satan. This is why they don't care about climate change. Well, part of why. If the world is doomed anyway, why bother being a responsible steward to the environment? Satan's up there. So what does all this have to do with Christian Zionism? Well, in Genesis, God made a covenant with Abraham that the promised land will forever belong to his descendants. But ever since the Babylonian exile, with very brief...
That's not really what it says. It says as long as you keep the covenant. And the Bible is full of the times that the Jewish nation did not keep the covenant. Like, that's the whole fucking point of the Bible, is like, you guys kept fucking up. It's not like a title deed. It's a tenancy.
Brief periods of exception, the Jews have not been in charge of the Promised Land, and ever since the Second Temple was destroyed, a huge chunk of the Jewish population had spread throughout the world. So the Abrahamic covenant in Genesis is reframed by some Christians, and some Jews, we'll get to them, like a prophecy to be fulfilled. And in order for that to happen, a regathering of Jews in the land of Israel is necessary.
The Jews would be scattered from this land to the ends of the earth, and then regathered back into this land after many years of persecution. And it would all happen during what the Bible calls the last days.
Premillennial dispensationalism was popularized in the late 1800s, and was a big thing in the South for a large part of the 20th century, but oh boy. Here comes the formation of the modern state of Israel in 1948. Abrahamic covenant about to be fulfilled. This regathering of the Jews in the Holy Land is identified by premillennial dispensationalists as a sign of the end times. Any minute now. Apocalypse is coming.
Chapter 38 predicts 5 nations who will attack the reborn state of Israel in the future. This is a huge battle predicted to happen after the Jews have returned to this land, which means it could happen any day now. Then the Bible says God is going to cause Russia's weapons to misfire and explode on themselves. This will create confusion among these 5 nations to the point that they start attacking themselves instead of Israel. Some of you are probably wondering where I get my news from, and that's actually a great question. This is why I rely on my partners over at Ground News.
The most fervent supporters of the state of Israel in America are not the Jews, who tend to hold a very wide spectrum of opinions and beliefs on the state of Israel, but evangelical Christians who support Israel and reject the Jewish diaspora because they believe that...
I love Lindsay Ellis doing shade on Ground News. Thank you, Lindsay. I am on your team. I'm on the anti-Ground News team. They're sussy as fuck.
All of the Jews need to be back in the homeland so we can have the second coming and I can get sucked back up into Christ's loving arms.
The evangelicals are more excited about that than Jewish people. It's really, right? It's incredible.
Yeah. Weird. I don't mean to imply that rapture theory is the only reason that tens of millions of Americans support the state of Israel. You know, we gotta give Islamophobia its due credit, but it is arguably the largest core component. But American evangelicals aren't the only crazies with shaky religious doctrine bolstering their horrible politics. Rapture doctrine also dovetails with the political aims, if not necessarily the religious beliefs, of certain sects of Judaism who ascribe to religious Zionism. Not all Zionist Jews are Zionists for religious reasons.
I want to explain something, chat. There's a material basis for modern Zionism. You get a lot of free shit. Move to the West Bank and get a free home paid for by some fucking evangelical church. You don't have to work. It's very clearly a transaction where you get a lot of benefits as long as you don't mind being an evil piece of shit.
And not all religious Jews are Zionists. There are some rabbis who argue that political Zionism runs in contradiction of God's will.
According to the very basics of Judaism, there's a concept of Jewish exile, which is a divine decree, which we are forbidden to end by any physical means.
But obviously there are a very great many Jewish people that do not adhere to this belief. Religious Zionists. Their basic argument is that we can do what we want. The Bible says so.
The Bible says this place was given to the Jews.
This area is called Judea. The meaning of Judea is it's belong to the Jews.
Where's the nearest Palestinian town? I'm so uncomfortable using the word Palestinian because I don't think that it exists. You don't think they really exist? I don't think that they exist as a real nation with a real claim to this land. What are they then? They are They're Arabs. With a connection to this land? Yes, they have a connection to it. It's nowhere near the depth and, I mean, we were in this land planting vineyards before Muhammad was in the 3rd grade.
The history said it's belonged to Israel.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
And to be clear, Scripture is not commanding anyone to do this. The support for all of this in Scripture, both Christian and Jewish, is flimsy and controversial within their respective religious communities. This is not religion brainwashing people. These are political actions that the people in power wanted to do anyway.
Exactly.
And when any kind of qualm pops up, don't worry, it's fine. Actually, our Holy Scripture says we're commanded to do this thing, which, yeah, on the surface seems opposed to our belief system, but actually, it isn't. This is why American evangelicals can support Trump despite his obvious a-religiosity and cartoonish amorality. This is just God putting an unexpected hero into the right place when we need him the most.
Lord raised up a thrice married New York real estate developer to show American Christians what manhood and warrior courage looks like.
I love Donald Trump because he exposes all the right-wing belief systems as utterly vacuous and stupid.
I am the chosen one.
This is why they can decry passages against the gays, a topic Jesus never said anything about, but ignore his teachings about tolerance. It's why they can come up with religious justifications for prosperity despite the obvious unholiness of being a billionaire. It's why they can be so obsessed with abortion despite there being absolutely nothing in the Bible about abortion.
Actually, that's not even true. There is something in the Bible about abortion. It's a pro-abortion segment of the Bible. It's in Numbers. It talks about making a potion that you could, if you suspect your wife cheated on you, you can give your wife an abortion potion, and if she miscarries, it's because she cheated on you, but if she doesn't, it means it's your kid. There's literally, it's the bitter water segment. Now, obviously, it doesn't do anything. It's just a way of getting jealous husbands to shut the fuck up. It's a really cool thing they put in the Bible so that if you're a rabbi for a town and some guy is like acting like a psycho and he's super jealous about his wife, you could do this mumbo jumbo to shut him the fuck up. And you're like, yep, look, see, she did have a miscarriage. She did cheat on you. Shut the fuck up. That's the whole point of it. Which, if you are, I'm sure if you are in a like village in the fucking Bronze Age, you would need to have some sort of hocus pocus bullshit you could tell jealous husbands so they'd stop freaking out and killing their wives.
Bible's a big book. So's the Quran. So's the Talmud. Look hard enough and you'll find a scriptural justification for whatever it is you want to get done. So, speaking of which,
here, I'll show you real quick before we move on. The test for an unfaithful wife. And the Lord said unto Moses, speak to the Israelites and say to them, if a man's wife goes astray, it is unfaithful to him, so that another man has had sexual relations with her, and this is hidden from her husband, and her impurity is undetected, since there is no witness against her, and she has not been caught in the act. If feelings of jealousy come over her husband, and he suspects his wife, and she is impure, or he is jealous and suspects her, even though she is not impure, then he is to take his wife to the priest, and he must also take an offering of 1/10 of an ephah of barley flour on her behalf. He must not pour olive oil onto it or put incense onto it, because it is a grain offering for jealousy, a reminder offering to draw attention to wrongdoing. And the priest shall bring her and have her stand before the Lord. And then he shall take some holy water in a clay jar and put some dust from the tabernacle floor into the water. After the priest has had the woman stand before the Lord, he shall loosen her hair and place in her hands the reminder offering, the grain offering for jealousy, while he holds himself the bitter water that brings a curse. Then the priest shall put the woman under oath and say to her, if no other man has had sexual relations with you and you have not gone astray and become impure while married to your husband, may this bitter water that brings a curse not harm you. But if you have gone astray while married to your husband and you have made yourself impure by having sexual relations with a man other than your husband, here the priest is to put the woman under this curse. May the Lord cause you to become a curse among your people when he makes your womb miscarry and your abdomen swell. May this water that brings a curse enter your body so your abdomen swells or your womb miscarries. And then the woman is to say, amen, so be it. The priest is to write these curses on a scroll and then wash them off into the bitter water. He shall make the woman drink the bitter water that brings a curse, and this water that brings a curse and causes bitter suffering will enter her. The priest is to take it from her hands, the grain offering for jealousy, wave it before the Lord, and bring it to the altar. The priest is then to take a handful of grain offering as a memorial offering and burn it on the altar. After that, he is to have the woman drink the water. If she has made herself impure and been unfaithful to her husband, this will result when she is made to drink the water that brings a curse and causes bitter suffering. It will enter her. Her abdomen will swell, her womb will miscarry, and she will become a curse. If, however, the woman has not made herself impure but is clean, she will be cleared of guilt and will be able to have children. This then is the law of jealousy. When a woman goes astray and makes herself impure while married to her husband, or when feelings of jealousy come over a man because he suspects his wife, the priest is to have her stand before the Lord and to apply the entire law to her. The husband will be innocent of any wrongdoing, but the woman will bear the consequences of her sin. So basically, this is just mumbo jumbo to get freaking jealous weirdos to shut the fuck up. That's all this is. This is, he has no proof she cheated on him, but he's a fucking jealous psycho. So how do we get him to shut the fuck up? Oh, God told me I could do this potion, and if she's innocent, then nothing will happen. But if she's guilty, she'll have a miscarriage. All right? That's all it is. It's mumbo jumbo bullshit. Everybody knows it, but it's a really smart trick. I'm sure the priests were like, this is awesome. I could get all these guys to stop being freaks. But again, does it seem like God thinks abortion is like some sort of murder? Like womb miscarrying, that's an abortion. But it's not like God's like, we're killing the evil baby. Like, no. The priest that came up with this, he was fucking cooking. This is a great idea. Jealousy is a poison that ruins lives. When people just have like unspecified jealousy that's not connected to anything that actually happens and that makes them go insane, this is a good little trick. Anyway, long story short, the Bible does have abortion in it, and it says abortion is good. It's like, anyway, Chad, I think I'm going to call it there. I really do recommend you check out the Lindsay Ellis video. I picked like the worst part of the video to watch. I'm sorry. The part on Mr. Rogers is the part that I should have picked. I picked the boring history part because it's kind of funny, but I should have picked the Mr. Rogers part because it's way better. Anyway, chat, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I am not getting $8,000 a month to spread DNC propaganda. So I hope I'll see you back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, right here at the Central Committee stream with your host, Mike, from PA. I'll see you all soon. Stay safe. Here's all my links. And don't forget to subscribe to Vio because she has a whole bunch of really cool emotes that she just made. All right, everybody. I'll see you soon. Take it easy. Peace out.